That's for guests if we have any. News, and as soon as the news is over, we're heading in. Okay. That's some good weather. Good morning and welcome to the second annual high school football media day.
1, 2.
And this is Fox Sports 910 a.m., 1310 a.m., The Game. And we're also on WOTM TV through Charter. We'd like to make sure that we talk. Jerry, hey, Jerry, this is Eddie Owen and
good morning, Eddie.
And Jerry Bavaro.
It's about time, isn't it?
It is about time.
I'm excited.
And I'm glad that we're here together again. Second time through. Should be a little bit different for us. We'd like to thank Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Keith Blackman Country Financial, Hyundai of Auburn, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home and Crematory, Kenny Knox Tire Center, and Rice Real Estate Services for sponsoring. Of course, again, it's presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. Jerry, we have 9 teams in here today and 10 tomorrow. We'll be starting out with Chambers and Coach Jason Allen.
Yeah, we're starting off with the state defending state champion, perennial powers in the private school side of it, and looking forward to it. It's going to be another good year. East Alabama produced 2 state champions last year. Looking for maybe a little bit more. Opelika, from what I heard, is going to be
I think Opelika is going to be a formidable team this year.
Yep. From what I've heard, better watch out for Opelika. A lot of great teams, a lot of great coaches, and we're going to introduce, 9 today. So
9. And
should be an exciting couple of days.
On the agenda for today, we have the Chambers Rebels, the Valley Rams, Lafayette Bulldogs, Beauregard Hornets, Lochapoka Indians, Smith Station Panthers, Springwood, Beulah, and Auburn. Auburn should have another very good team. You know, one of the things, Jerry, that we talk about every year is how tough the schedules are. The schedules for every classification in this area around here in East Alabama remind me of the SEC West.
Yep.
You can have a really, really good team, but you play some very good baseball, basketball, football teams.
Well, you look at Opelika, not only do they have a very tough 6A schedule, but they play 2 of the best 7A football teams in the state.
Absolutely.
In Auburn and Central.
Right.
Central winning the 7A state champion. So Opelika basically every week is going to have a very tough schedule, and looking forward to their season.
Well, and people walking in front of the camera, that's okay. There are some other things that are not, teams that are not going to be here today or tomorrow that I'd like to talk about a little bit. Enterprise, your Enterprise Wildcats are.
Yeah, everybody's excited about the new coach we got. He came from a very successful program in South Georgia. Unfortunately, I forgot his name, but
I did too.
He's a very successful coach, and that program has been down, and hopefully that coach will get it in a couple. It's going to take a couple of years to get that thing turned around, but hopefully they'll get it back to where the people in the Enterprise want it.
Okay, we're going to go to the podium now, and Van Riggs.
All right. We appreciate everybody coming out for High School Football Media Days 2019, presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. We appreciate all our media friends here locally and across the state, when those watching us and listening to us on the radio, Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game. It's all presented to you by the Orthopedic Clinic. And we also are pleased to have WOTM TV also, those watching us now and also watching us throughout the lead up to high school football. We're excited to get things kicked off. We got 18 schools that will be joining us here. We've increased it from last year. We hope to continue to build this event and continue to grow. And I know excitement for high school football is here. And the excitement certainly is up in Lafayette, Alabama. Chambers Academy coming off of a state championship last year with a big win over Crenshaw Christian. Coach Jason Allen has turned Chambers Academy into a powerhouse in 1A AISA. Please welcome up Coach Jason Allen, also players Braxton Allen, Peyton Allen, and Jake Waldrop to kick off Media Days.
Good morning, guys. Last year we were the first team, and we're getting ready to play for the state championship last year, and I don't see Brooke here, but Brooke sent me a soundbite that said if we're going to be the first team, hopefully we're going to be the first team at the end. We ended up winning a state championship, so I'd like to keep this first spot every year if it turns out the same way as it did last year. So appreciate you allowing us to be here. What a great opportunity to talk about our program in a great area that loves football, loves their kids, and high school football is so important to so many people. And we're just really excited to be here. Last time we were able to be together, we had a tremendous season, the first state championship in the history of Chambers Academy on our 50th anniversary. So how special was that? We've had a great off season. Our guys are hungry again to try to get back there again. You know, they say the hardest thing in sports is not getting to the top, but is staying on the top. So we don't know a whole lot about that, but we're going to try to stay there. We kind of like the way it feels. Our guys have worked really hard. They know it's a new season, a new team. We've adopted a philosophy for our team in that we've tried to adapt and create a culture that's willing to go the second mile and create a second mile mentality among our young people. And we kind of base that, we try to have we talk about about things that make our young men not only better football players, but better human beings, better fathers, better husbands, things that they're going to be out in our community here in a few years. And we've based our motto this year on Matthew chapter 5, verse 41. It says, Jesus said, if anyone asks you to go with him 1 mile, then go with him 2. So our guys have really adapted and adopted that motto that we're going to go the extra mile. They've adopted the motto that if I give more than is expected, I'll get more than is deserved. And so really excited about this team. Just a couple things about our program, and it's really a testament to our young people and the way they've bought into our system. Over the last 3 years, our record is 37-2, which has just been a really phenomenal as a head coach to be a part of. And if you take that back over 4 years, our overall record is 47-5. So we're living in the greatest era of Chambers Academy football in its existence. And we're really proud to represent our people, our school, our community. and really Lafayette. But not only Lafayette, we get a lot of kids from a lot of different areas at our school. We're kind of a hub between Opelika, Valley, and Beulah, Roanoke, and Dayville, and we have kids coming from every direction every morning to our place, to our school, and just really excited that we can represent Chambers County and the Lafayette area the way we have the last couple of years. Another interesting statistic that I didn't realize, or somebody pointed out, our football team has not lost a home football game since 2015. So we feel like that's really a strong testament to our young people and the way we defend our home field. And we really take it personal when you come to our place to play football. Of course, we've been able to play in 4 state championship games consecutively, which is an invaluable experience. Anytime you can go to the mountaintop and gain that experience, you can't replace that. And I think that was a huge part of what our kids were able to overcome and finally win a state championship and kick that wall down this past year. And just really, it was a surreal experience for our young people, and I think it made them all the better for it. One thing I think's been huge in our program, and I think you'll hear any football coach say, that's been a huge part of our success, is staff retention. Our staff has been together for the last 5 years. We have the same philosophy. We know how each other thinks. We have a comfort level. We have a system that when it's broke, we know how to fix it. And we're going to be able to teach it to our young people in a relatable way that's not confusing to them. And just really excited about our staff. Got a lot of knowledge and some guys that we really trust, and we know we'll have each other's back when times get tough. Again, we come from a great community where Friday nights football shuts down, and all across this great country of ours, I think there's a lot of small towns like that, and I think then at its core, that's what high school football is. We talked last year about being small town famous, and that was kind of a quote the kids came up with, and we kind of rallied behind it. But we love being from a small town. We love the people in our community, and they love our team. And on Friday nights, if you want to go to the other side of town, you probably could rob some stores because most of the people are going to be at the ball game and getting them some supper. So just really outstanding community that we come from, and then I really want to talk about our senior class. I've got 2 seniors up here this morning and a junior, but our senior class is probably the deepest, most experienced, quality young men that we've had since I've been back at Chambers Academy, and this is going on, I think, our 7th year now. And I just love this class. I'm kind of sad, when football starts. As a football coach, you're at it 7 days a week, and it goes by really fast. So the only sad thing for me as a head football coach is when it starts, because I know it's fixing to be over pretty quick. So this is just an outstanding class, and I'm really excited for their senior year. And at the same time, I'm saddened that it is their senior year because we've got some awfully good young men and good football players in this class. Lastly, just want to talk about our schedule a little bit. I'm really excited about our schedule. We lost 3 games off our schedule this year. In my 22 years of coaching, I've never had that happen. We had that thing out in the emergency room with the paddles on it this summer trying to revive it and resuscitate it so many times. We unfortunately had a couple of schools in our association that were not able to stay open, and for some reason or another. And that's sad, but at the same time, we had to get a schedule. We added some outstanding teams to our schedule, some 3A schools in our association, one of them being Tuscaloosa Academy. Some of you might be familiar with their new head coach, John Copeland, who played at Valley in the early 90s, went on to play at Alabama and in the NFL, and they're coming to our place week 2. Of course, week 1, we got Lee Scott Academy. They got a brand new head coach, and I hear they've got a lot of excitement around their program. And then we added Bessemer Academy at the end of our year, and most people know about Bessemer Academy. They've been a stalwart in our association for a long time and won a lot of state championships. So really excited about our schedule. I think it's challenging. I think it's going to make us better when it gets time for the playoffs, and it's going to it's just going to be really exciting. At this time, I just want to introduce some of these guys that are to my right and my left. First guy I want to introduce right here is Braxton Allen, number 34. This will be his 5th year as a varsity player for us, and he started at linebacker since his 8th grade year. That's really not something that's heard of a whole lot. And he is, I tell you what, this guy is pound for pound the best defensive football player that I've coached or coached against in my career. And I think that's not saying anything about the other players or any other players I've had. I was just saying a testament to him. This guy is a rolling ball of butcher knives. If you've watched him play on Friday nights, if you block him, he's going to make 8 out of every 10 tackles. If you don't block him, he's going to make every single one. And he's always around the football, and he's an outstanding young man. And just really, I wouldn't trade him for anybody. I tell you, I want some guys that are going to stick with me, come thick and thin. And I tell you, if I was in a foxhole, first guy I'd want in the hole with me is Braxton Allen, because he ain't going anywhere. He's going to stay with me. And just he's had a phenomenal career. He's got over 350 career tackles, and that is a lot of tackles. He has been a team-first football player from the word go, and is willing to do anything to help our team win. And it's been a privilege to coach him. Next is Jake Waldrop. Jake is a 3-year starter for us at offensive tackle. And I ain't real smart, but I figured out a long time ago, when you got guys like Jake, you figure out a way to run behind them. And Jake is an outstanding player for us, and he's going to move the line of scrimmage from a sheer size standpoint. He brings a lot to the table for our football team, but he is a very intelligent football player. He does a great job in the classroom. All 3 of these guys do. And he really cares about the game, and just he's been a privilege to coach, and we're looking for an outstanding senior year out of him. And then lastly, I got Peyton Allen. Peyton's our junior quarterback. He's coming off an outstanding season last year, in which he threw for over 1,600 yards with only 4 interceptions. He's had an outstanding 7-on-7 season so far. I think we're through 11 7-on-7 games, we've not thrown a single interception, and we've scored every single time we've touched the ball in 7-on-7, which is kind of hard to do because the other team knows you're throwing it every time. But it's been great. Our guys have competed really hard in that part of the season. But Peyton has got a lot of intangible qualities. Of course, being a coach's son, that always helps. It's either really good or really bad. And I've seen it work both ways, but he's an outstanding young man, and his mama did a good job raising him. So just really proud of these guys, the way they represent our school every day, and they're first-class young men. At this time, we'll open up. Any of you guys got any questions?
All right, well, we can start back with TV row if you guys want to ask a few, and then we'll get the players up. First up for Coach, though.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm great.
So one question is, you mentioned all the schools that are around your area and some teams that don't have programs anymore because they are smaller. What's the challenge of being a small school and keeping these guys to play for Chambers when they do have other options at bigger schools, less than 15 miles away?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of our kids, they love Chambers Academy, and they love what's going on there, and I think we've got an outstanding thing going. Some of our kids, their parents have gone to Chambers Academy. They're second-generation families, even some third-generation families now. I think it's a testament to what we've done with our coaching staff, the way we've been successful on the field, and I think everybody wants to be a winner. And we push our young men as hard, as anybody, I feel like, and we've created a culture. I think that's the big key. We've created a culture that expects to win, but at the same time, we want our guys to have a great time doing it. This high school window, it goes by faster and faster, it seems like to me, every year I coach, and before you know it, these guys are freshmen. Before you know it, they're gone. And I tell them all the time, guys, this is one of the greatest times of your life. And we try to make football fun. And it's hard work, there's no doubt. And it's tough being out there in nearly 100-degree weather. you know, our guys enjoy this game an awful lot, and I think you can tell that by the way they play.
Coach, in the same vein as that, you added some games to the schedule, some very difficult opponents in light of that. How do you think that will help you come playoff time?
Well, you know, they say if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you better, and I don't think they're going to cook us and eat us. So we feel like we can play with anybody in our league. We really do. We feel like we've gotten to that point. Every time our guys step between the lines, they expect to win, and that's half the battle, as most of the coaches will tell you. And we think that we're ready for it. We feel like that our guys have worked hard, and they expect to play the best, and I think it's going to galvanize us going into the playoffs.
Coach, this is the first time in probably 30 years that you haven't had a guy named Lyons on your team with CJ or Malik. How do you replace that production, especially considering how much CJ meant to your team last year?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, CJ was an outstanding player, you know, and he had a lot of things that he was born with that you just don't find. And he gave us an ability to score from any point of the football field, which, as you know, that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And so he's going to be tough to replace. We probably won't do it with one guy. We'll do it with a lot of guys. We feel like that we got some guys that are ready for that challenge, ready to step up. I think the main thing that you do is you got to be good up front. We've been awfully good up front the last several years. I think the strength of our football team is going to be up front this year. And so we're going to get those guys some yards, and then, of course, the rest of it's going to be up to them at the second and third level. So I think Braxton's going to be a big part of that for us. He's a great running back. It's his time. It's time for him to step up. We're going to get a little more production out of the quarterback position from a run standpoint this year than we've have in the past. So it'll be more by committee, and I think a lot of coaches probably give you that answer at times when they lose an outstanding football player.
Jason, how's it going this morning?
Great. You, Jordan?
Doing good. One of the themes of today for a lot of these teams that are coming in is they're still trying to figure out the quarterback position. You guys have Peyton coming back. Just in general as a coach, how big is it going into a season knowing that you've got an established quarterback and it's not something you got to worry about?
Well, you know, it's an unbelievable comfort level. You know, it all starts and ends with your quarterback position, and it always has in this game. Of course, now even more than I guess when Coach Washburn or some of these guys were coaching, I think the quarterback position has been given more responsibility with the spread game, the way teams are spreading it out and throwing the ball around. And you know, the main thing is Peyton understands our system. I think any time that you got a guy at the reins that's touching the ball every time, that knows what everybody else is doing, it's a huge advantage to your team. And so we're going to use that strength. We're going to rely on him. We're going to lean on him. And I think he's ready to take another step in the maturation process. And we feel like every time we line up, we've got an advantage at the quarterback position. We feel like he could start for a lot of teams in a lot of places. And just really excited about what he brings to our team.
Yeah, well, I'll start and ask Peyton, just how much more comfortable you feel going into your junior year now that you're coming off the season that you had, and the fact that y'all are coming in as defending state champs?
Yeah, I definitely feel more confident my junior year, but just working hard in the summer, and I've been in the system since 6th grade and doing this, so I felt like I was ready last year, but yeah, I just feel more comfortable my junior year for sure.
And I'll ask one follow-up. Your dad talked about the theme this year is second mile. Just in your mind, what does that mean to you as far as going the second mile?
Yeah, just pushing guys the extra limit, and like when coach gives you something and you do something extra on your own to make yourself better, and just doing more for the team and not for yourself.
Coach Allen, talk about when you came back to Chambers, your third stint as coach, and the emphasis you placed on getting back to playing great defensive football. Because when you lost to Abbeville's probably a better team, but your defense has gotten better and better and better each year. And last year I thought was clearly the best you've ever had. Talk about the emphasis on defense, how that's transformed your program And a number of these kids that are seniors, Brody Smoot, Rafney Daniel, Caden Smoot, and some others.
Yeah, you know, I've always heard with my coaching career that offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And, you know, we came back, we were scoring a lot of points, but we were winning some shootouts. And it was pretty nerve-wracking as a head coach. And I told our coaches, I think about 3 years ago in Austin, I said, you know, guys, we're averaging 40-something points a game. I don't think we can do a whole lot better than that. We better start getting better on the other side of the ball if we want to win a championship. And we made a concerted effort to place more priority defensively. And last year, you're exactly right. Our team was outstanding. We gave up a little under 7 points a game, and I think that's definitely going to be the strength of our football team this year. We got about 8 or 9 guys coming back on that side of the ball that were part of that. You know, defensively, you know, I think that's where our team made the biggest stride the last couple of years, and I'm really excited about where we can take it here with these guys, with all the experience we've got coming back. I know our guys are hungry to improve upon those numbers.
Braxton, to be a fifth-year starter and to hear your coach say that you're the best defensive player that he's ever coached or coached against, how does that make you feel, man?
I'm just trying to get better every single day. I'm not satisfied with anything anybody said I might have done or anything like that, because I think I can be even better, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it sounds good, but at the end of the day, you got to go to work. So.
All right, Jake, let's get you one final question here before we wrap things up.
I mean, I guess a question for you would be, what are you hoping to bring to this team this year, and how do you, in years of coming short, and now you're going into, you just won a state championship, how as you as a leader on your team keep your team motivated after having the success you wanted last year?
Well, our guys just know that people remember us for what we've done, but we all concentrate on what we're going to do in the future. And starting as a lineman since 10th grade, and we lost one lineman last year, or this year we lost one lineman, Austin Knox, and he set a tone for us. But our line is going to be very well, and it's going to set the tone for our team very well.
Jake, players, coach, appreciate y'all coming. Good luck again, Chambers Academy, continuing their success in 1A and the AISA, and bring home another trophy, Coach. Appreciate y'all coming. Thank you. Take a quick break. We'll come right back with more Media Days, presented to you by the Orthopedic Clinic.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room, to surgery, to cancer treatment, to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
The USS Alabama is a World War II-era battleship that first served in the Atlantic Theater, but was better known for helping to take Japanese-held islands in the Pacific between 1943 and 1945. During the Battle of the Philippine Sea, the Alabama's state-of-the-art radar alerted the fleet to incoming aircraft, providing the Americans enough time to scramble fighters and decimate the attacking force. Later, the Alabama served during the Battle of Leyte Gulf and anchored in Tokyo Bay to unload Allied occupation forces. In 1964, the state of Alabama took possession of the battleship. Alabama school children raised $100,000 in nickels and dimes to help bring the ship to Mobile and create Battleship Memorial Park. The park features the Alabama, the World War II-era submarine USS Drum, and an American military aircraft collection. Battleship Memorial Park is one of the state's most visited attractions.
Okay, there you go. Welcome back to Media Days 2019 on Fox Sports 910 AM, 13 AM, The Game. We really appreciate the Orthopedic Clinic for sponsoring this, along with other sponsors that we'll mention throughout the day. We're on 910 AM and 1310 AM live, along with WOTM TV and Charter. Jerry, interesting conversation up there from the defending 1A state champions in AISA.
Yeah, and you can see being as successful as they have been, they're having a little schedule problems. They have to play a lot of, I believe they're playing 3A football teams this year. And it shows you a lot of people are avoiding Chambers.
Perennial powers also. I mean, you pick up Tuscaloosa Academy and Bessemer Academy for a 1A school, you're really doing something. We're, next we got Buster Daniels and the Valley Rams, and I was just talking with Buster, and you know, he's got a numbers problem again. Started out with over 70 in the spring, and he's down in the low 40s now. Great coach. Really good person, and I told Buster that lots of us, and especially the people in Lafayette and the players up there, are just proud to have a coach that's been there more than 1 year.
Yeah, you got a man that's played for Valley, homegrown, knows his football. He got Valley finally back into the playoffs after about a 5-6 year absence. I'm glad to see he brought his bodyguards today.
Boy, he's got a couple of big ones, doesn't he?
Big old kids. But Buster knows what he's doing. He's getting that program. I'm a little disappointed on the turnout. Some of those, you know, a lot of kids dropped out for various reasons, but we need a little bit more numbers than 40, so hopefully he get them back up.
All right, we're going to continue on with high school football media days presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. Appreciate those listening on Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, and those watching us live on Facebook and on the Fox Sports The Game Facebook page, and also on WOTM TV. We appreciate them covering this event. Appreciate Chambers Academy, Coach Jason Allen and the crew, another great football team. We've got so many great schools that are here, and so many teams that had successful years last year. This is another school that had a great season last year, Valley High School. Coach Buster Daniel got Valley back to the playoffs for the first time since 2013. He is entering his third season as head coach at Valley. And we'll bring up and welcome Valley High School head coach Buster Daniel. And you can catch their games on our sister station all season long, 100.9 WCJM, The Bull.
All right, good morning, everybody. First thing I want to do is I want to thank Fox Sports, iHeart Radio, and Orthopedic Clinic for allowing us to come up here and speak about our programs and speak about our kids. And this is a great platform just to talk about football. You know, football is getting a bad rap these day and time. With all the people that never played football, you know, they're trying to drag it down, you know, talk bad about it. We're getting hurt, our kids getting injured, and all this stuff. So this is a good time for us to speak about the game. Football is the best best team sport ever invented. They learn so much from football other than just a game, and that's what I'm trying to tell my kids every single day. We're trying to teach you how to be young men, how to be on time. We're teaching all these things. So football does that. So anytime somebody bad talks football, set them straight, let them know it's a great game, and we're doing more than just teaching that game of football. But I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for allowing us to be up here and talk about our guys. First thing I want to talk about is our team. We lost 21 seniors last year, which was a big class, especially at Valley, being 5A. A lot of good players gone, but this year we're going to be extremely young. Again, you wouldn't think that being a 5A school, but we have 7 seniors returning, 2 of them which are sitting up here with me now. So we're going to be extremely young. We do have a sophomore class that has been extremely talented over the years, 7th, 8th, 9th grade year. They've probably lost 4 games. So we're going to be a good football team, but we're going to be young. So our future is still coming. Old saying of Coach Spence McCracken when I was here at Opelika years ago, he would tell everybody and tell us every day, for every sophomore that you started, you were going to lose a game. I don't know if I buy that or not. He's a lot smarter than I am, but the sophomores that we're going to have, we're going to probably start 6 of them. So if that's the case, man, we may be in trouble. But we got good young football players that's going to step up and play the game for us. But we will be young. Most of our team starters will be juniors and sophomores. So like I said, the future is bright for us. But we have 7 good seniors that are returning for us. I think the majority of them will start. These guys are being tremendous leaders on and off the field, in the weight room. They're doing everything I ask them to do. The last couple of years, we haven't had team leaders or player leaders. Coaches have to do everything. And, they tell you, the bad teams, coaches lead. Bad teams don't have leaders. Good teams, coaches lead. Great teams, players lead. And these seniors, along with these 2 and 5 others I have there, are doing that for us. They're starting to lead in the weight room. If somebody slacks off, they pick them up. If they're not running hard, these guys get on them. And they're doing everything I need them to do. So I'm really proud of this team. I'm looking forward to the seasons coming up. We got great kids that work hard every single day. They come with the lunch pail mentality and just working. And that's all you can ask from them. Our coaching staff is going to remain the same. We had one change after my first year. But last year's bunch is still the same. Most of them are Valley guys. They're ingrained there. They love Valley High. They work their tail off for it, and they want us to be great, so they come in there every day working. And they treat these kids the right way and try to teach them everything they know. Last season, let me talk first couple of seasons. Like I said, we're coming into our 3rd season as a staff. First year, we were 2-8. Wasn't as good as we wanted to be. We were in a lot of those games, but we still would like our season to be better than 2-8. The next year, last year's season, we ended up being 5-6. Started learning some things about our team. Kids started learning things the way we want things done. They bought into it. Ended up being 5-6, and as Van says, we made playoffs last year for the first time since 2013. The playoff game didn't go as well as we wanted to, but the kids learned a lot from that. They were in the moment. They were in the light there. They figured out what it feels like to go to playoffs. So now they've come to work this summer trying to get back to the same place and even further down the road. We can go further than the first round. But this year coming in, our schedule didn't change from last year. I think, and as Coach Allen talked about a while ago, I think this Central Alabama is the best place of football in the whole state. Whether it's 1A all the way up to 7A. I think this area is the best place for football. And our region, I think, is one of the best in 5A. If you go back and look, Beauregard won the 5A state championship a few years ago. Greenville last year, I think, went to semifinals. So our region, as far as 5A, is as good as they come, in my opinion. So we don't have an easy schedule. Our non-region schedule is really tough. We play in a 1A team in Lynette, which is, the finished state champions a couple of years ago. They're not your normal 1A school. They got athletes all over the field, and probably got as many or more than we do as being a 5A school. But we played them. We got Smith Station in the very next game, which is 7A. Coach Mike Glisson's got that place turned around, and they're doing things the right way. They're a really, really good football team. And then we play we got Benjamin Russell at the end. Benjamin Russell is a 6A school that's well-known around here. It's always tough, always plays the game right way. So, other than our region schedule, it don't get any easy for us. We don't get any easier. Our region is, and I'll just go down the line, is Beauregard, Tallahassee, Charles Henderson, Greenville, Rehoboth, and Carroll Ozark. All big-name schools. It's been around a long time, and you know, as every time you turn around, they're all in the playoffs somewhere or have been. So our schedule is pretty tough, and you talked about earlier, Coach talked about playing good teams. Well, if you're going to be the best, you got to play the best, and that's the way we always feel. You know, we don't try to run from anybody. Anybody wants to play, we'll play them, and because I think it's just going to make our guys better. So we're going to play our schedule. We're going to get after it every week. We're not worried about wins and losses. We're worried about making our kids better, and if they work hard and do things the right way, the wins will come. So we don't really preach wins and losses for these guys. Like I said, we're looking forward to this season. We got great kids. They are working every single day. So at this time, we'll open up questions. First, I want to introduce these guys first, though. This is Daniel Osborne. He's a senior. Daniel plays offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, wherever we need to play. He is a 3-year starter. Very good young man. Works hard, does great in the classroom, but does everything we ask him to do, and expecting a lot of big things out of him. Over to my left is Jaden Hamlin. Jaden's also a senior, also a 3-year starter. Plays defensive tackle, and he's going to probably play some tight end this year for us. He just don't know that yet, but we're going to play our guys wherever they need to play for us to be successful. If we had to play 11 guys the whole game on both sides of the ball, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the best guys on the field, and these are 2 of the best. So we'll open up the floor for questions with me or the players.
All right. Well, Coach, I want to start it off. I want to ask you a question. The way your playoff game ended last year, you were out of that game pretty early in it, but your team, they never thought they were out of it because they battled back. Right. Briarwood was your opponent, one of the toughest teams in the state. Talk about the way that game ended. You came back and scored about 3 touchdowns in a matter of 5 minutes. Briarwood had to bring their starters back in the game. Just talk about how that game ended, and that was, I think, some big momentum going into this year.
That's a great question, Bam. I appreciate it. Yeah, our guys never quit. You know, we did something that was uncharacteristic of us. We gave up 21 points on special teams, which is really, really uncharacteristic. You take that away, we end up winning the game. And like you said, the guys never quit. You know, they got down, kept fighting back. And that's what we're trying to teach these guys. You know, for the first couple of years, man, you know, the guys that we had that were playing, they'd been through some bad times. You know, they've been through losing seasons, and it just looked like it was okay or easy to give up. These kids are starting to see that now, see that they can play, see that they can come back. That was a great game for them. You know, we played a great opponent there. You know, they're in the playoffs every single year, always in it. So for our guys to see that they can come back on a team like that, that is a great building stone for our guys down the road.
Coach, making the playoffs for the first time in several years last year. You also mentioned how difficult this region is. So what is your, I guess, mentality, the message for this team to try to go a little bit further this year, maybe even host a playoff game, considering how tough the region is, how tough your schedule is, and going forward, what do you try to tell them here as you guys get approach fall camp?
Yes, like I said, the region is very tough, and we don't preach wins and losses. I mentioned a while ago. We preach doing the best you can do. Do things the right way, and the wins will take care of itself. We go in every season, no matter where you are. We go in every season trying to win the region, and get in the playoffs, and state championships is everybody's goal. But we just preach every day to work hard, do the best you can do, and wins and losses will take care of themselves.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good.
Good. You know, last year you started off with that win against Lynette. Kind of became the talk of the area. You know, Valley beat Lynette, and that catapulted you to the playoffs. How important is that first game against Lynette again this year?
Oh, it's extremely important. It's Valley Lynette. I don't care if they're 1A, they're 5A, whatever. It's Valley Lynette. That rivalry's been going on for, 50, 60 years, maybe longer. I don't know. I played in it. My father-in-law sitting here coached in it. It's huge. It really is. And like I said, they're not the normal 1A school. They got athletes all over the field. They got a great coach, great quarterback. They're going to play you tough. I don't care who you are. But, yeah, I mean, it's big for our kids. They live 5 miles from each other. They hang out together. They talk on the phone. They text. So they're all friends. But that one night, they're enemies. And they're trying to beat each other back in. They want to beat each other as bad as they can. And but it's a huge game. And win or lose that is not the end of your career, but winning it does a lot for your season. Either way.
Got a couple questions for Daniel.
Okay.
How's it going, man?
Good. About yourself?
Good, thank you. I got a couple questions. So first one, your good friend Christian just committed to Alabama last week. What did you say to him, and what's your message to him? Because obviously that's a huge deal for you guys.
I mean, I was proud of him, man. Me and him grew up together, competing every single day against each other, no matter what it was. And I was just proud of him for getting that scholarship and making his family proud, you know.
You're a talented player, too. What looks have you gotten so far? Where are you at in the recruiting process? And how do you balance recruiting with, wanting to focus on your last season?
I mean, we've had a couple schools come talk to me and him together. And I don't really like to pay attention to it right now. Just trying to focus on the season coming up. And if something happens, it's going to happen.
Thank you.
All right, we'll come up to News Run. Okay.
Daniel, you're mainly an offensive guard, but played several positions according to Coach Daniels. What's your favorite position, and what do you look at playing most in the game?
Like I said, probably I play a little bit of defensive end and middle linebacker, but I'd have to say middle linebacker just because I like to flow and hit people. That's just me personally, but probably offensive line because that's where I've been at since 9th grade. So it's just my, my home basically.
All right, got a question for Coach if you want. Like you said, you guys graduated a lot of playmakers from last year. Looking at specifically these two guys, what have you seen from them, both in their playing and also their leadership, that makes you think that they're going to help the program build off of last year and making the playoffs for the first time in several years?
The biggest thing I've seen, they're both good players, and they've been good players since I've been there. The biggest thing is the leadership role. Like I said, in the last couple of years, we have great kids, great players, but nobody wanted to step up and lead like they should in the weight room and stuff. And this started from day one with these guys. Somebody skip a rep in the weight room, they're on them. Somebody not running hard on the field in sprints, they're on them. And that's what you got to have. It can't be the coaches all the time. The kids got to step up and do their job. And these guys, the biggest thing they've done is their leadership role and trying to mentor these young guys. As I said, we're an extremely young team. So they need these guys showing them how to do it and make sure, they tell them. But the leadership role has been the biggest thing for these two guys.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Sean. How are you?
All right. Thanks for asking. So, new year, same question. A month out from the season, do you know who the starting quarterback is?
I do not. We don't have one right now. We got two kids. I tell you, for the ones that don't know out there, our starting quarterback last year decided he didn't want to play anymore, and that's okay. Great kid. So we've got two kids really now that is starting from scratch. Gabe, I can't call him. Gabe Harmon, that's old age sitting in. Gabe Harmon played the position last year, so he's experienced. And Will Kennedy's the other one playing right now. And we got two young guys, going to be 10th graders that's played a little bit and taking some snaps. But those two guys right now are fighting it out, and they're neck and neck. I mean, they are. They both come out and bust their backside every single day. They work hard in the weight room. They're being leaders on the field. We won't know right now. I think both of them will play against Lynette. I really do. And then if one of them just takes over between now and then, we'll name a starter. But both guys are doing a great job. If I had to say one had an edge, it'd be Gabe just because of the experience. Will may be a little better athlete, and that's what's keeping them closer, But right now, we just don't have one. And I tell these guys every day, I got 22 positions open. So we don't have any starters anyway, We want these guys, because if I tell one of them they're a starter, I'm afraid the other one may back off some. So I want each kid out there to work hard trying to earn a position every single day.
Right. And for Jaden now, Coach said a few minutes ago that you might play some tight end this year, and you don't even know that yet. When's the last time you played tight end?
I never played tight end before.
So how do you feel about the prospects of, lining up at tight end this year?
I feel good about it. I feel like it's going to be a good opportunity to open up more things.
You ever, play catch growing up or anything like that?
Yeah, I done did.
Yeah, a lot of that. So you think you're a good receiver?
Yeah, I'd be a good.
All right.
Just want to ask a question to Daniel. Your dad, he was kind of a wild man at Springwood. What has your old man taught you in terms of intensity?
Well, I hear this every day. He talks to me, stays on me 24/7 about it. He's just saying, give 110% everywhere I go and be crazy on the field. Don't hold anything back.
if you're going to hit somebody, it don't matter if it's the referee, it don't matter, hit somebody. That's what he always tells me. So I'm just hitting somebody.
Daniel, I'll stay with you right here. My question is just how much of a motivator going into this season was the fact that y'all made it to the playoffs last year? Is that something that gets talked about, and if so, what's the motivation like?
I mean, it helps a little bit, but to me, you can't be satisfied with that. You got to look into the future and say, hey, we're looking for region champs, 3rd, 4th round playoff, and I mean, even something bigger than that. You can't just go off last season. That's in the past. You got to look in the future, and we got to get to that point where we can say, hey, we're going to do this every single year, and that's what we're trying to get Valley back to.
All right, guys, appreciate it. One more question. All right.
This could be for anyone who feels comfortable with answering it. The voice of the Valley Rams recently passed away, and you guys honored him by naming the press box, I believe, after him. Just any words for the voice of the Valley Rams?
Yeah, Mr. Heston, he's been doing it for over 30 years. Great man, and the voice will be missed. He really will. He was a fine man. It was really ingrained in Valley. He loved Valley Rams. You know, I hadn't been there that long, but it's going to be different not hearing that voice. We got a great guy that's going to replace him, but Mr. Heston was there for a long, long time. He even got where it was hard for him to get up in the press box, but he was still there every night, talking about these kids right here, which he loved. But he's going to be missed, and I think it's a great idea to name the press box after him.
Coach Daniel, we appreciate you joining us. Also, Daniel and Jayden, we appreciate y'all joining us well. Good luck to the Valley Rams. Appreciate y'all joining us.
All right, thank you, man.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Get along down the road, we got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Huddle up and huddle in to the newly renovated, family-friendly, smoke-free Huddle House. Stop by and enjoy our new updated look on Highway 280 in Sylacauga. We have the same great food, and as always, you can enjoy any meal anytime, from breakfast to lunch to dinner, or even a midnight snack. Add one of our signature waffles to your meal for that ultimate dining experience.
Huddle up and huddle in.
That's right, ladies. Freshly remodeled and smoke-free, any meal anytime. Highway 280 in Sylacauga, it's the Huddle House. A funeral service represents a family's final farewell to their loved ones. Knowing this, we go beyond what is expected to ensure the ceremony is beautiful and memorable, a truly fitting tribute to that special life. We invite you to visit us to meet our staff and tour our renovated facility complete with a new dining area and catering services. We've been serving the people of this area for over 40 years, and we think that you'll be pleased to find that making lasting impressions remains our first priority. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back into original condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision,
where quality is no accident.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
Welcome back to the second annual High School Football Media Days, Fox Sports 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m. The Game, brought to you by the Orthopedic Clinic. Well, Jerry, what'd you think about Buster and Valley Rams?
I was impressed. He brought two impressive kids. The big question for the Valley Rams, who's going to be their quarterback? They're a little down in numbers, but hopefully they'll get those back up. But Coach got that program heading in the right direction. As we said earlier, they made it to the playoffs. Hopefully they'll make it to the playoffs again, maybe get to the second or third round this year.
Well, I know that Coach said some things that a lot of people think are Coach speak, but you and I know him very well, and we know that it's not Coach speak when he says things like, we're coaching young men to be better people, not just better football players. He has a heart for these people, the young men. He knows what it's like to be on both sides. He knows what it's like to be a player and a coach. And another thing that he said, several times he was pressed about, you made the playoffs, what you going to do now? And he said, wins will take care of themselves. We're going to go out there and play each game like we're supposed to, and we'll do what we have to do.
Right.
I got something to tell you, and I think probably Coach Lucas, Lafayette's about to come up. He just told me something that I think is amazing. He said this is the best football team he thinks Lafayette's ever had.
Wow, that's impressive. Because they've had some good ones.
That's almost scary.
Yeah. They look like the Pittsburgh Steelers up there.
Yeah, they do. And, Jerry, I told somebody yesterday that we go through all of this. And we're
all right, good morning. We're going to continue with our high school media days here, presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. Lafayette Bulldogs are up next this morning, and we appreciate everybody being here via radio, TV, social media, the Facebook page, and our great media that are here gathered today representing all sorts. Lafayette High School is who we bring up next. Coach James Lucas is entering his 6th season as the head coach of the Bulldogs. Coach Lucas has made the season, the playoffs the last 4 years, which is a very good accomplishment. And he's sent a young man over to Auburn University among many other players that he's had graduate. I think they call him Booby. But he has Jordan Walker with him today, Keandre Peterson, and Tavius Woody. And I bring up Coach James Lucas, Lafayette High School.
First, I would like to say thank God for bringing us all together again in the midst and talk a little bit about the football program for this year. Our 2019 football team at Lafayette is going to be humble. It's going to be a together team. This year we don't have a lot of outstanding athletes, but we have a group of guys that push and motivate each other on a daily basis. We have a good senior base group this year, about 13 seniors. They've been with me since they've been in the 8th grade, so they understand what I expect. They understand the work ethic that we teach, and they understand the character and the fundamentals. So with that said, these guys brought their senior classmate in this off season, and they put together the plan to be nation great. That's our motto for this year: be nationally known. And the reason why is in the past we been getting to the quarterfinal, the semifinal area, and losing and stuff. And I had a conversation with one of the weight trainer guys, and I told him, I said, something is, we need to do something different. And he asked me what I was telling him. I said, be state great. And he said, well, when you tell them to be state great, that makes the ceiling be a little lower. And so they're bumping their head on the ceiling, and they can't break through that quarterfinal round and all that good stuff. And so he told me, he said, you need to tell them to be on the national standard. And so I went back and I told the guys, I said, look, everything we do is going to be nation great. We're not going to be looking for state. We're going to be looking for national attention. And so with that word and that motivation, the kids have really done real good this off season. The summer program has went very well for us. 7-on-7 participation has been great for us. We have a lot of young underclassmen coming in, but we have a good group of seniors that's well motivated and self-disciplined and teaching the younger guys how it's done. And like Coach Daniel said, in the weight room, these guys make sure they get every rep, and that's something that speaks volume. I feel like this is one of the best teams that I have at Lafayette this year, and I told them, I said, when I put it out there, back it up. And so these guys are really humble, and they care about each other, they motivate each other, and that's a great thing. We start our season off with a preseason game versus Hanley on the 24th, and then we played our first opening game against Lynette, which is very, very good competition for our area. And then we go into area play. We play the whole month of September at home, 4 games straight. Then in October, we play 4 games away. So it's kind of like a unorthodox schedule, but that's the way it fell on us. So we're going to take what was handed to us, and we're going to do the best thing we can possibly do with it. We know that Reeltown is going to be tough again this year. We know that Thorsby is going to be tough, as well as other schools that we have in our areas like Coosa Central, Fayetteville, and so forth. And at this time, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to take them.
Coach, kind of going off of national attention, one guy that's got that already is Boobie Whitlow. What was it like to see him emerge as a player at Auburn, and what do you look forward to him as he approaches his sophomore year?
Well, we taught him the same way we teach these guys, understanding the grinding mode. You don't take the you great, you're good, and all this kind of stuff. You just outgrind your opponent, because every day somebody's trying to take your job. And he's been doing a great job off the field as well as on the field, representing Lafayette. Small schools matter, and he's done a phenomenal job, and I'm expecting him to do even more great things. I had one, he came up to me when we went to the 7-on-7 up in Auburn, and one of the coaches was with him. He said, "Thank you for sending me Boobie. He's a good player." I said, "Boobie is not good." And he said, "Oh, that's right, he's a great player." I said, "Boobie is not great." And I said, "Boobie," I said, what is our motto about this? He said, "You got to grind. You don't listen to what people tell you. You keep grinding. Because as soon as you start thinking you're good and great, you're going to fall to the bottom, and then they're going to want to get rid of you." So he listened very well. That's what all my athletes do. They listen very well, and I appreciate them for doing so.
And Coach, with Boobie getting that exposure on the national stage, we saw the broadcasters kind of struggle with your hometown name. They say Lafayette, Lafayette. I think Steve Levy even said Lafitte in the first game against Washington. Can you set the record straight on what the true name of your hometown is and on the team?
It is Lafayette. It's capital L, little a, capital F. Lafayette. A lot of people just spell it all in big letters, and they throw those different names around. I run across people everywhere, and they said it's named like the name in Louisiana. And I said, no, it's different. It's a capital L, little a, capital F. And so that's the way we always do it, is Lafayette. Thank you.
This question is for Coach and Jordan. Coach, first, you talked about wanting to be nationally, be on the national stage and be nationally relevant. How difficult is that, considering you're from a small town and, with the history of Lafayette and getting them at that next level? And for Jordan, as a quarterback, senior quarterback, what are you doing for yourself to try to make sure that this team, as a leader, can get to be nationally relevant this year?
Well, on national level, they keep up with that record on Max Prep. And so that we look at seeing ourselves. When I first got to Lafayette, we was ranked 10,000. Now we're down in like the 8,000, 7,000, floating around in that area. So it's just a mindset of breaking through that point of ceiling of thinking you need to be state great. And I thought about it when the person told me about it. I thought about when the coach from Colquitt County won the state title, and he was raising the trophy up on stage, and he was saying, being state champs are great, but we want to be nationally known. And I was like, wow, man, be nationally known and stuff. And then I think about Hoover, I think about Central Phoenix City. I think about all these schools that are being nationally known. So why can we not be nationally known? We play the game just like they play the game. And so in that aspect that, being nation great is just a mindset to just see yourself getting bigger and better on the platform which small schools can do as well. And I thank you for that question.
Well, with me being able to have the ability to get to go to these different big colleges and see what they do, I take all that information in and I bring it back to these guys, and I try to come back and lead by example, since I've seen what it takes to be nationally great. And I try to show these guys what you got to do, the kind of work you got to put in, and even going the extra mile to be nationally great.
Jordan, I'll stay with you, and then I have a question for Coach. But, stepping in, you've made a name for yourself on defense, but what's the challenge been like as taking over as a starting quarterback, and what do you enjoy about playing the quarterback position?
The challenge has really been just being able to just, understand the quarterback position. But for me playing defense and being a safety, and I really got to, just sit back there and really read the quarterback, it's kind of not that hard for me because, I know different kind of stuff from just being a safety. So I carry that over to being a quarterback, and it kind of just comes natural.
All right, question for Coach. I'll let you kind of brag on all three of these guys. We've talked a lot today so far about nation great. What have you seen from each of these three that shows you they're capable of helping this team be nation great?
Well, this young man to my left, Keandre Peterson, number 10, he's been an outstanding player. He's the type of kid that every team would love to have, this type of athlete. He never wants to come out the field. He plays offense, defense, special teams. And one night we was winning, and it was in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, and I said, Keandre, come on out the field. We're going to get a young guy. He said, why, Coach? And I said, we're going to get these young guys some little reps and stuff. But, just the demeanor of him putting in the work and want to be a factor in the game and do all the things that needs to be done. And sometimes I ask myself, are you tired of winning? He said, no, I'm good. And he gives you full, all 100% effort every play. And that's what I really like about Keandre as being a leader, not just on the field, but off the field as well. He's a silent kid, but he leads by example. To my right, everybody know his name, is Jordan Walker, highly recruited kid for the defensive side of the ball. And he's an athlete. He played wide receiver for me last year, all-state on the defensive side of the ball, had 7 interceptions. And, he has a lot of knowledge. He played quarterback in his youth days. And so I seen it, and we played him at quarterback a little bit last year because we knew we was losing Jalen. And so he did an outstanding job, and so he's going to be the lead corporate this year of this team. I do have some young guys that are coming up. I have an 8th grader, A.J. Patrick. This kid is special. And Vinay Singh. Both of these guys are going to be some great talents when they get the opportunity to take over this program. Right beside him was Antavius Woody. Antavius Woody, he's just a 10th grader going into the 10th grade, and he got offered to come down to Auburn Junior Day, and that's the first time he ever been to Auburn campus, and that was quite amazing for me and for Coach Malzahn as well, you know, and you know, he's really learning a lot this year. He devoted himself to football. He didn't play any basketball this off season. He stayed in the weight room, committed himself. We went to the camps, learned the drills and all this kind of good stuff. And I'm looking for him to be a great leader to come out of Lafayette. And so these three guys are like the team captains on my standards. And they put in the work. They always get together. They condition strongly and everything, and they don't complain and they don't whine. And so with that, you can't ask for any better group of guys.
Coach, this is going to be your 6th season, and just talk a little bit about at Lafayette. Basketball was always king, but you brought Lafayette football consistency. You've been there. The kids have played well for you. What does that mean that a number of the kids at Lafayette will play football in addition to basketball? It was always basketball, but now Lafayette's become a football school, and your rivalry with Lynette in football it can resemble what it's like with Lynette in basketball, which is probably the best basketball rivalry in the state. The last 3 or 4 years were the 2 of the biggest games ever played between Lynette and Lafayette. Now you're not in the same region, but what does that do your first game of the season to possibly jumpstart your team? And knowing the 2016 game was 66-26, then I think Lynette won last year 46-13. What's your comments about what that can do for you if you upset them in your first game?
Well, Coach Story has done a tremendous job over at Lynette, and I've been knowing Coach Story since I was at Notasoga. And when I came to Lafayette, he welcomed me there because that's his alumni. And he told me, he said, Coach, he said, you're going to do good there. You just, continue to do what you've been doing, and I have. And I brought the same philosophy that I had in Notasoga to Lafayette. And tell the guys all the time, it's about character, fundamentals, and techniques. You got to understand that. And these guys have really bought in over the years. And the competition between us and Lynette is a great competition because it's a lot of family members and cousins and so forth and all that good stuff that represent both schools from both ends. And then we give it all we got for that one day, and then the rest of the days we back who we are. And he has taught me a lot from his aspect of coaching. I taught him some things from my aspect of coaching, and it's just really grown from there. I think the year we played in our region, when we played them at our place, that was the first time I ever had a $25,000 gate, and that speaks volume. And then we went to his place the next year to play for the area final, and he had a $30,000 gate. So that speaks volume that the background of the community supporting and wanting these kids and showing up to support their athletes for their schools. And I can always say that this is one of the best rivalries because you don't have to worry about all that unnecessary activity. When the game is over, it's in basketball, football, or whatever we play. Everybody comes together and communicates and talk and hug and go on by their business. And that's what it's supposed to be about. But for the most part of coming to Lafayette and knowing it was a basketball school when I got there, it really, they always told me they had talent. And when I got there, I realized that's what they was playing off of. They were just playing off of talent. The only shutout I had since I've been at Lafayette is against Horseshoe Bend. We got beat 14-0 on homecoming. And that really opened their eyes because like I told them, I said, when you got a lot of athletic talent, it's a I, me world. But when you're together, one group of guys working on one accord, you can do anything. And we found that out playing Fife 3 years in a row. And so, this year I see the turning point to these guys getting that same mindset to those guys that we lost the only game, shut out to and being beat by three times by Fife and all that kind of stuff. It takes that to become humble. And they have bought into that mentality mindset, and that's why I said this is going to be one of my best teams ever. because it's not one talent on this team that's going to make this team. It's going to take every player on this team to make it a team. So that's why I say what I said.
Hey, Coach. Sorry. Hey, Coach, this is Jerry Bavaro. Coach of the I'm on the high school scoreboard show. This microphone's got me all confused right now. But anyway, I want to thank you for bringing the Pittsburgh Steelers here with you, some impressive athletes. I have a question for Jordan, if I could ask.
You may.
Hey, Jordan, how has the success of Boobie Whitlow motivated some of your teammates and yourself of maybe one day playing football on Saturdays?
Oh, the success of Boobie has really motivated us because he's shown that small schools matter, and we just trying to back that up and show that small schools really do matter. So how we see Boobie on TV and all that good stuff, it just makes us want to like go in that weight room, go out there on the field, and just grind even harder so we can be there one day.
I have a question for Antavius. Most of the guys that are being brought here are seniors, and you're a sophomore. You're a big man, and you evidently are a pretty good football player to be invited to junior camp. And so as a sophomore, you're going to be one of the leaders of the team. How do you feel about that?
I feel that if I become one of the leaders of the team, that I can help us go far along and have a great season, and we can just come together and play great as a team.
I have a question for Antavius. Oh, I'm sorry, not Antavius, Keandre, sorry. You guys as a defense have continued to get better and better under Coach Lucas the last few years. In your mind for this year, what do you guys need to do to kind of take that next step? And again, going back to hopefully being nation great.
Working hard every day, being in the weight room, just grinding because we want to take the next step and win a state championship. We were coming up very short, but this year we really feel like we can go all the way this year.
All right, Jordan, Keandre, Antavius, we appreciate y'all coming. Good luck. And we got one more question. Sorry.
This is a question for the seniors. I believe you guys are wearing number 20 on your helmets this season for Zay Brooks. I don't know if you guys had a close relationship with them necessarily, but what does that mean to y'all for senior year to kind of honor him, and what did he mean to the community of Lafayette?
Oh, it means like a lot, man. It's really hurt us to see him go away like that, man. So we're gonna dedicate this season to him. We're gonna leave it all out on the field for him, and we're just gonna try to go all the way for him because he meant a lot to us. He was like a big brother to us, and he meant a lot to the community. Great kid, great person to hang with, and so the best we can do is just go out, leave it all on the field for him, and honor his number each and every game.
Great words. We appreciate y'all so much. Jordan, Keandre, Antavius, and Coach Lucas, good luck to Lafayette High School. Lafayette, either way. Coach, good luck. Thank y'all. We'll take a quick break and come back with more on Fox Sports 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m. The Game.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills? Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
The USS Alabama is a World War II-era battleship that first served in the Atlantic Theater, but was better known for helping to take Japanese-held islands in the Pacific between 1943 and 1945. During the Battle of the Philippine Sea, the Alabama's state-of-the-art radar alerted the fleet to incoming aircraft, providing the Americans enough time to scramble fighters and decimate the attacking force. Later, the Alabama served during the Battle of Leyte Gulf and anchored in Tokyo Bay to unload Allied occupation forces. In 1964, the state of Alabama took possession of the battleship. Alabama schoolchildren raised $100,000 in nickels and dimes to help bring the ship to Mobile and create Battleship Memorial Park. The park features the Alabama, the World War II-era submarine USS Drum, and an American military aircraft collection. Battleship Memorial Park is one of the state's most visited attractions.
Singer Percy Sledge was one of the most identifiable voices in the genre of country soul, which emerged from Muscle Shoals in the mid-1960s. In 1966, Sledge recorded his most iconic song, When a Man Loves a Woman. The song topped Billboard's Top 100 for 16 weeks. Percy Sledge's career spanned 5 decades. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Get along down the road, we got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Welcome back to High School Football Media Days, a second annual event. Jerry, what a great event this is every year. I'm so glad that you and I are a part of this. It's on Fox Sports 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m. The Game, sponsored by the Orthopedic Clinic, in part by Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Country Financial, Hyundai of Auburn, Rice Real Estate, Kenny Knox Tire Center, Jeff Coat Trent Funeral Home.
Yeah, this is a great event. You know what I like about this event, Eddie, is these young kids get to learn how to deal with the press. You know, you can tell most of them are a little intimidated right now, but some of these great athletes are going to have to do a lot of talking on Saturdays.
Yeah, I think
it's a good learning experience for these kids.
I think there's a real strong possibility that all three of those that were just up will be playing big-time football
Very
before long.
impressive, according to ESPN, from Lafayette High School.
Yeah, Lafayette.
But, yeah, Booby Whitlow has shown those kids from Lafayette that, you know, if you work hard and a good athlete, you got a chance to play on Saturdays and get your college paid for.
Yeah, and here's a team coming up that are 2 years removed from a state championship, and how tough is that to follow up in a year after you lose some of your better players.
Right.
But
Beauregard's still winning a lot of football games, not quite as much as that.
They're in a tough region.
But a very tough region. That's right.
Okay, we're going to go up to old Van Riggs here shortly. And Beauregard's in a tough region, and they start off the season with 6'8" Benjamin Russell at home this year. So
All right, welcome back. High School Football Media Days presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. We appreciate those listed on Fox Sports 9:10 a.m. and 13:10 a.m. The Game, and also watching live on Facebook and on our websites across the platform, our iHeart radio stations. And we want to thank, of course, our title sponsor, the Orthopedic Clinic. We also want to thank, we've got a lot of presenting sponsors as well. Hyundai of Auburn, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home. We've got Rice Real Estate Services, Kenny Knox Tire Center, also Keith Blackman Country Financial, and Frederick Dean Funeral Home. We appreciate their sponsorship of High School Football Media Days. Of course, without sponsors, nothing can go, and we appreciate them helping us out put on this big event. Our next school, I want to welcome up Beauregard High School, and they've brought along 3 great athletes, and we'll let Coach Carter introduce them. But Coach Carter's entering his 6th season as head coach, and Coach, that's hard to believe. This is your 6th year as a head coach. He's made the playoffs every year at Beauregard, including a 2016 5A state championship win at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Please welcome up Coach Rob Carter and the Beauregard Hornets.
Good morning, fellas. You know, it's great that y'all have this, and the second year, we appreciate everybody that was involved, and to see you guys back there with the cameras. I watch y'all, you know, y'all share my time now. I watch all those news channels, but to have the opportunity for these kids to be recognized and get up and tell their story of high school football, which, you know, go back to my past, I can remember it, you know, every day. It's a great game. It teaches more than just wins and losses. You hear every coach say that, and it's true. The character development is key, the leadership, and I've got 3 young men right here that have definitely shown, you know, those characters in leadership and have done an outstanding job for me. I have Cody Knight right here to my right, is battling at quarterback position and playing other positions. We don't play one side of the ball, but he's done an excellent job in the weight room and has really waited his time out to have an opportunity to play for us at quarterback. Ashton Moss, returning running back from last year, had a great season. I think really emerged as a key offensive weapon for us, you know, last season. And I'm not sure exactly the stats he had, but he was key in some wins we had late in the season when we needed him, some big runs, and also plays outside linebacker. Tyler Torbert is one of our big men in the middle. He's a nose guard. He's anchored that down. He does an excellent job. He had a lot of playing time last year. He's that leader in those big fellas up there because we're fairly young in the fronts. And Tyler anchors the defensive nose position and also participates on the offensive line. So these are the 3 guys I selected to come because they've earned it. You know, as far as their participation in the summer, and we've had a great, I think, team participation in our workouts. We're looking forward to this season. It's a different picture than what we've had. Definitely is a young team, and it is fun for the coaching staff, and it's different than it has been the last few years for me, where we've brought back a lot of experience. So, you know, you guys shoot at questions and bring these guys up, but we appreciate being here. Don't need to keep talking.
No, you're good, Coach. I was just going to – you're in your 6th year, Coach Carter.
Right.
What does it mean to be at Beauregard for that long, have a championship under your belt? Just talk about that a little bit, entering your 6th season.
Well, I mean, you know, when I've been there 14 – this has been my 14th year being an assistant into the head coach. It means a lot. I mean, I think our family – my father was a great man, taught us to be in a community, stay there, build it. You know, find somewhere you love, and I do. So, you know, I want to continue to be there for a length of time. I will never make as long as Mr. Brown did, but, you know, I'd like to stay at Beauregard as long as I can. It's great that, you know, I love mentioning the 2016 state championship, but, you know, that is in the past. It was a great part of our past. You know, we're going to build from that and use that as motivation for these young men and what can possibly, you know, you set your mind to it and you work together, what you can achieve. But, you know, I love it in Beauregard, and I'm looking forward to my 6th year.
How you doing, Coach? Right here in the back.
Okay.
You guys have obviously, your town's been through a lot since March 3rd. How does sports, particularly your sport of football, help to bring back some sense of normalcy? Because this is the first time that you guys are playing since that happened.
Yeah, you know, that's tough. I know that these young men worked hand in hand daily from Providence Baptist Church to out in the field. You know, it gives them a different aspect in life, you know, the understanding of, you know, anything can happen at any time. And even when it does happen, if you bond together, you can build back. and that's what we're doing. We're using it as a definitely going into this season, is to remember those people that suffered the greatest consequences and the families, and watching that devastation. But main thing, watching the community come together and build back was amazing. And these young men worked. I'm telling you, Cody Knight and Ash and Tyler and all of them were out there daily for weeks. But they understand that, football, let's get it off our mind, because that is real life. And but those, their characteristics and their leadership got them out in that field helping people.
You'll obviously have heavy hearts, but how important is it for you as a coach to let these guys know it's okay to have fun? Because, it is a sport that's fun, and they're high schoolers too.
Absolutely. I mean, being an older head coach, as far as it took me a while to become a head coach, I saw that. Love your family, spend your time with your family more than anything. Wins are great. Losses aren't so great, but you got to have fun. I mean, you remember the fun times, the locker rooms, the friendships you make, just the silly stuff that happens within a group. So, Cody is a main one. He likes to have fun now. Cody is our clown over there. I have to get on to him a little bit, but, and then I have to think, hey, this is a fun game. But, like I said, you said it right, that you got to have fun in this game. We want to teach kids how to compete and how to work hard, but also enjoy what they're doing.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Good. You kind of talk about the family in that sort of situation. All of us immediately check on our families if they're in that area, the impact area. As a coach, you have so many kids who look up to you, so many kids who may see you as their father figure. Just after that happened, what was the first thing that you did with the team and sort of reaching out and making sure everybody was okay?
Well, within 30 minutes, me and my son, which is on the team too, were, had our chainsaws, and we were on the road cutting our way in. Wasn't a whole lot of service that I could get, but we were checking. Coaches and staff got together, and we made calls to kids that we knew that might have been in the path, checking on them. So, that's how it worked. 30 minutes, I think one of your stations that we were watching, all of them did an excellent job of showing me where it was going, and I knew, who lived on what road. And naturally, we loaded our boots up and our chainsaws, and I'm telling you, 30 minutes afterwards, we were on the road cutting our way into, some friends and families and that we knew, and helping out.
Real quick, just off of that, I got two questions for you. First one is off of the tornado, of course. Is what do you guys plan to do? Are you guys planning to do any sort of fundraiser or anything for the going up first game, or any sort of something for the first home game for the fans or anything like that? And then secondly, to a football question, to win 5 of your last, I think it was 6 games, and make it in the playoffs, host a playoff game, how do you carry that over into the next season, or does that carry over, or do you have to start from scratch?
I'll answer your first question. The administration will handle any type of organization of something fundraising during a game. As far as honoring those guys, we're looking to put some, on our uniform, a helmet, same way as they've done throughout, from Auburn University to wherever. But the administration handle that part. And as far as coming through and finishing runner-up in our region after you start an 0-3 start, is a great tool. And we play a tough schedule to begin with. Our schedule's tough. There's no doubt. And when you win a state championship, a lot of teams don't play anymore, so you are, left a tough schedule, which is really good. I think that it prepared us for the end of the season. Having to play those teams, being in those fights for 4 quarters. You play one of those games where your starters play a half, I don't know how much you've gained, besides some experience for young kids. But, we won't have that option. We go into Ben Russell and then turn around and you follow 2 6A teams. We're going to have to play my starters probably all 4 quarters, and hope we're in it close at the end and can pull it out. But, I think using that, showing kids, you get knocked down, you get back up, Same way the tornado. Hey, it affected us big time, major, but we can't sit there and just let that bring us down, and we got to build back and teach people, what they need to do in the next storm and those things, but really show the community that, you stick together, you can accomplish anything. Yes.
I have a question for Ashton.
Okay.
Ashton, you've had a chance to watch LaDamian, Jacob Calloway, Kyle Hughley, or Sam Hughley, I can't remember his first name. What have you learned from those guys, their styles, their approach, their work ethic, and what influence will they play for you as you enter your junior season as the starting tailback for Beauregard?
LaDamian taught me a lot, really, about how, like, a play might not go the exact way as written up, but you just got to do what you got to do. And I learned that I just have to grind on and off the field, like in the weight room or in the classroom, so I'm not able to, like, not play. And, like, they taught me to just work hard at what I want, and I can get it, especially Kyle, because he was in the weight room, like, every day. So he taught me a lot, and LaDamian taught me about, like, you know, vision and stuff and running style and gaps and stuff. Yeah.
Question for is this on? Question for Coach?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Coach, you know, a lot of the times leading up to a season, we talk about, you know, the depth chart being open, but it seems like given how much y'all graduated, that's clearly the case this year. What have you seen as far as the competitive spirit just among this team? How happy are you with what you've seen as far as competition between these guys trying to earn these starting spots?
Right. I mean, you get a first look at the kids and possible starters in the spring. From there to now, it has been amazing. We've really got some young kids that are going to have to, you know, participate and play a lot of games on Friday night. I mean, a lot in the game on Friday night. And they have done an excellent job, which I always thought they would. We look forward to this younger group coming up. But these guys, you know, we spoke with them and said, hey, you know, these ninth graders, you have to approach it a little different. And to be honest with you, when you're in the ninth grade, you don't expect to play on Friday night a lot. I said, we've got 8 or 9 kids, guys that are coming up that are going to help us on Friday night. We need them, you know, embrace them, help them. Don't treat them anything like you know, the hazing part or having fun with them. You know, we got to bring these on and try to mature them as quick as we can. And I've seen that. This group is treated them as equals, and you know, we're going to have to rely on them. And that's what I think one of the best things of witnessing this summer is the work and the communication between the older kids and the younger kids has been great.
I also have a question for Cody. Cody, kind of a two-part question. One, what do you feel like you learned from the quarterbacks that were playing last year, Q and Sam? And also, what's the competition been like for you this summer trying to earn that spot?
I learned a lot from the past quarterbacks that I'm short. I got to accept that now. And I got a strong arm. Just got to work with the line, the wide receivers and stuff. And second question?
Yeah, just as far as what's the competition been like as you try to show your teammates and earn that spot?
Hard. Got to learn a lot. Got to know what defense doing, what your line's doing, what the right decision stuff. Make sure you do it right. Make sure you push the team, the limits and stuff.
I also got a question for Tyler. Tyler, we talked about a few minutes ago when Valley was here just how tough y'all's region is. You know, what's it like competing in this region, and especially this year on the defense as you guys try to replace some really good players?
It's good. I think it's good that we have a tough region because we win the region. That means we can go all the way in the playoffs, and we play a lot of really good offenses. So, yeah.
All right. Good time. Yeah, okay. Good luck to Beauregard. I will say I was down through the impacted area in Beauregard. I think it was 2 days after it had rolled through, and I saw Coach Thorne, Coach Carter, and just a crew of players in the back of pickup trucks. The unbelievable work you guys did. I know the community appreciates it and continues to appreciate it. Coach, good luck this season, and we appreciate all of y'all coming. Thank you so much. We'll take a quick break on Fox Sports 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m. The Game.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills? Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Get along down the road. We got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Huddle up and huddle in to the newly renovated, family-friendly, smoke-free Huddle House. Stop by and enjoy our new updated look on Highway 280 in Sylacauga. We have the same great food, and as always, you can enjoy any meal anytime, from breakfast to lunch to dinner, or even a midnight snack. Add one of our signature waffles to your meal for that ultimate dining experience.
Huddle up and huddle in.
That's right, ladies. Freshly remodeled and smoke-free, any meal anytime. Highway 280 in Sylacauga, it's the Huddle House. A funeral service represents a family's final farewell to their loved ones. Knowing this, we go beyond what is expected to ensure the ceremony is beautiful and memorable, a truly fitting tribute to that special life. We invite you to visit us to meet our staff and tour our renovated facility complete with a new dining area and catering services. We've been serving the people of this area for over 40 years, and we think that you'll be pleased to find that making lasting impressions remains our first priority. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back into original condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision.
Where quality is no accident.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills? Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundation.
Second annual high school media days, brought to you by the Orthopedic Clinic on Fox Sports 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m. The Game. Jerry, we've had some good teams come in, and we got Lochapoka High School and Coach L.C. Cole coming up. They'll be headed to the podium in just a few minutes. It's kind of funny. Bobby Whitlow was the big question for Lafayette, and the tornado was the big question for Beauregard. You know, the tornado was obviously everybody knows how devastating it was, and this football team and the coaches and all of the school, the entire community and people from all around came together to try to help out there. But
yeah, that's a day that everybody in East Alabama will never forget. It was on a Sunday. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a tragic event, but you know, the Beauregard community has been fabulous. They've pulled together and worked together, and they're going to get through it. But it was a tragic event, and I think that might even pull the football team to bigger and better things, just you know, to maybe soothe the pain of some of the people in the community of Beauregard.
Right, and you know, we discussed this earlier with Valley, but Beauregard's in a really, really tough region. And they start off with Benjamin Russell, and then they're at Eufaula before they drop into their first region game at home against Valley. The Valley Beauregard rivalry has not been real big over the years, but it's starting to get really big now.
I was about to say the last couple of years it's increased. You know, when you're in the same region and you're that close to each other, it's going to be a rivalry. might be Valley's second biggest rivalry besides Lynette now.
Yeah, and one of the things too that like last year, Greenville was on a roll, and they came to Valley, and Valley did something to them that they weren't used to. Valley whooped them. I mean, I'm sorry, Beauregard whooped them.
Yeah.
And like they said, it was they were in a must-win situation the whole last of the season. But it's not hard to go 0-3 when you start off with the likes of Benjamin Russell and you follow.
Yeah, we were talking about that on our show, that don't count out Beauregard because they're 0-3. Look at their opponents. Sometimes those early season losses might even eventually help you during the playoffs, because you play teams of bigger classifications. Even though you may get an L, it's going to be more benefit than playing some of these smaller schools and winning 63-0.
That's right. One of the things too we talked about was they won a state championship in 2016, and in 2017 they had one of the premier running backs in the state who got hurt, and they actually were trying to live off of that one player, it seemed, until he got hurt. But then last year, the cupboard wasn't bare, but here's a bunch of guys that were having to lead where they had never led. And I think this is the year that Beauregard could really step forward.
Yeah, when you lose probably the best football player that's ever played at Beauregard.
Right.
It's a blow to start off with, but I think they have regrouped, and they got a young team, as Coach Carter said. I'm excited about the quarterback. I think he's going to do a good job for him. He's got that football knowledge that you need at the quarterback position, and Beauregard's going to be real competitive. I think they're going to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in their region.
Yeah, it was interesting too that not only were they fighting for their lives, but they were fighting for their playoff life, and ended up number 2 in the region.
They got in the playoffs. They had a unfortunate incident during the playoffs. A couple of players lost their composure and everything.
Yes.
And I know I've talked to Coach Carter about that, and he's going to get that changed. But Beauregard's people around the state know about Beauregard football now, so they're going to be competitive, and we'll see. When you got a young team, you just don't know how they're going to do out of the gate. But I think once they get around the playoff time, they're going to be ready to play.
Another thing that we probably need to talk about is that for the second year in a row, the Super 7 is going to be at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. The reason that that's going to happen is Bryant-Denny is going to go immediately into another renovation after the season, and they asked if Auburn could host because of that. So I think the contract runs out pretty soon, but hopefully it's going to be renewed again. I can't imagine that this would ever go back to Legion Field in Birmingham.
Right. I'm real excited about getting it for back-to-back years. The only bad thing is we're going to lose it for back-to-back years.
Well, that's right. Well, and what a great opportunity it is for this area and I think we talked about this a lot, how wonderful it is for the high school kids to be able to play at Bryant-Denny and especially Jordan-Hare.
It's something for about 95% of these kids will never get to experience. So
that's right.
That's something they'll never forget.
And we're getting ready to have Lochapoka come to the podium, and I think D-Mark's somebody's going to introduce them.
It looks like D-Mark and Coach L.C. Cole, who's been
just a reminder.
All right, welcome back to our high school media days presented by the Orthopedic Clinic in the Southern Room here at Southern Union State Community College. We're glad to be here for our second annual, and we're glad to have all our media that have come from far and wide. We appreciate here, and we certainly appreciate our schools and all our sponsors that make this possible. Our next team up, the Lochapoka Indians, known as Poka in these parts. And I have a great man to introduce. All our coaches are great people, but Coach L.C. Cole is the coach at Lochapoka, and Coach Cole had to take over in the middle of the year last year, early in the year, when their former head coach fell sick. Coach Cole has an extensive background, college, pro. I asked his players coming in, I said, do y'all know about Coach Cole? And they said, yeah. I said, you know where all he's coached? And they were like, yeah. I said, I guess it'd be easy to say, do you know where he hasn't coached? So he's coached a lot of places, and Coach Cole, we're glad to have you. So with no further ado, Coach L.C. Cole enters his second season. Last year the Indians finished 4-5, and Coach, you had a heck of a run at the end of the year. The longer you stay with the team, the better they got. The Indians started 0-3 on the season, as I said, wound up missing the playoffs just barely. And we've got 4 great players: Aaron Frazier, Quincy Nell, Tyrell Pierce, and DeMonte Moore. And I bring to the microphone the head coach of the Opelika Indians, Coach L.C. Cole.
Good morning, everyone. Just bringing you greetings from Opelika High School. We got 4 good gentlemen up here. The guys are 4 seniors. These guys has played together since they've been in elementary school, and I just thought it was very important. I know they said 3, but I couldn't leave out the other half and one, so we brought 4 of the players that's going to be a big part of our program this year. And you know, when those guys been together since they've been, you know, in childhood and now their final senior year, hopefully we can pull it together this coming year. I'm looking at our program this year. We've came a long way, and the best thing about our program is that we have improved every year. I can say when I first got there, we won 3 games. This year we won 4. So there is a positive movement in the program this year. And an ultimate goal this year is to go to the playoffs. So we've been working very hard. If you've seen the same guys that I brought up here last year, they were a little bit smaller last year. This year the guys have put their work in the weight room, and they're looking much, much, much bigger and much more athletic looking right now. So I think we're on the right track. We just got to keep on going. You know, we're a 1A school, and we're kind of small a little bit there. We're talking about an average of maybe 20 guys in our program that's really been committed. So that's pretty tough. These guys play everything. They never come off the field. So it's a consistent going on and on and on. And I think that's always why it's important that, you know, when the officials talk about heat timeouts, that's big in 1A football, especially for us when you got 20 players that's playing all the way around. Sometimes I think in 1A football, they probably should add 2 more heat timeouts for that group in 1A football. But if you guys have any questions, I'm open for any questions that you have, or the players. How you doing there?
Maybe. There it is. All right, Coach, obviously you're used to the college level. What's the adjustment like as a coach, teaching guys to go both ways, and how has the adjustment been for you at Opelika going into year 2?
Well, it's, you know, when you're in college, you know, like you just say, you have one guy going one way, and that's all you have to teach. When you get into high school, and especially at this level, when you say you're talking about guys go both ways, you got to limit yourself to a lot of things. You got to cut down a lot of things. You kind of have a lot of plays, defensive plays and offensive plays. You got to play kind of a little more basic a little bit right there. You know, just my biggest experience, I think, from the college level to the high school level is, and I hate to say it, is parents. You know, you have to deal more with, you know, parents right up on top of you. And you know, I'm a parent. I had a son that played football, but you know, sometimes people see guys on TV being famous, and every parent wants their kid to be that image and everything. So I would always just say it's parents, making them understand that a kid has to develop and he has to come through, and let the coaches be the coaches.
Coach, we'll keep it with that right there. Why do you think that is? We're seeing it in social media and these kind of things, that parents are becoming more and more involved and sometimes almost abrasive with these things. Why do you think that is in today's culture? We're seeing that a little bit more.
Well, you know, that's what I would just say, because that's social media, and it's good. Social media is good, but then again, people see these young men bloom off, and you can make millions and millions of dollars. You know, so if you are coming from a situation that you're not able to get things that other people are getting, and then you can see the eyes through your kids. You can look at most of the pro athletes and everything. A lot of them have came through a little bit of not having anything and all of a sudden jumped to glory. And everybody's always looking for some type of a glory moment.
And second question, Coach Bam, who you came in for, We haven't heard from him in a while. How is he doing? Is he still involved in any sort of way, talking to you about the program?
No, I'm always talking to Bam all the time because he was one of my students when I was at Alabama State, played for me at Alabama State. And I came back to help him at Opelika High School, and unfortunately, he came down with an illness that he can't coach anymore. And we talk all the time about the program, what direction. In some of the games when we get close to Prattville, he usually come out to the games and watch us play. But as far as that, he's been doing very well right now.
Coach, you guys finished strong at the end of the year. How do you carry that over into next year, and is it possible to carry over momentum from the previous season, considering you got you got some new players and things like that?
Well, that's what we have to do. We got to carry over what we did at the last part of the season and win at the top of the schedule. And I think that's very, very important that we win at the top of the schedule, because if you win at the top and then what we did at the bottom, I think then we would have a successful season. It was amazing that we did turn around at the back end of the season. Usually see people do pretty good at the top and then kind of get in the middle of their schedule and kind of struggle a little bit. And we were the opposite. This year we put a lot of emphasis on that we have to win at the top. I think when you win at the top, you get a confidence level, and we need that. We need a confidence level at the top and win at the top. And then at the bottom, we already know that we have won at the bottom from last year, so hopefully we can start good at the beginning and finish strong at the end and have a better season than we had last year.
LC, how's it going this morning?
Doing all right.
Good, good. You guys were basically a game away from making the playoffs last year, and you talk about, this program is improving and making progress. What are the things you need to see and what needs to happen to be different as far as being one game better this fall?
Well, I think from a coaching standpoint and just really going back over the season and evaluating the film, I think we need to just limit our offensive scheme to not as have many plays we had last year. When you're a college coach, you think big. You think you can do all these different things. And then when you get down to this level here, it's a whole different avenue, with the athletes spending a little more time in school and college, hey, they go 3 classes, then all of a sudden you can have a meeting. You can meet with them anytime. In high school, you have a certain period of time that you can meet with the guys on the field, and then they go home. So my thing is to limit the things that we have put in from last year and then turn around and just limit on defense, because they never come off the field. So to me, you just coaching from I just need one of them bullhorns and just be, holler out in the field, do this, do that, because they never come off the field or they run to the sideline and you give them some type of instructions. So hopefully we can get better at that. But I think one of the things is, too, we have got stronger. And I would just say if you can look back on these guys, when I brought them here last year, they look a little smaller. And we have done a tremendous off-season. I mean, we really pushing on the off-season in the weight room, and hopefully that'll make us bigger and stronger to go through the 10 games that we have.
Had another question about Aaron, and then I want to talk to Aaron, a question for him as well. But, he kind of emerged, it seemed like, last year as a guy you guys could really count on, really on both sides. Just what have you seen going into this season that he's, taken maybe even more strides for you guys?
Yeah, last year he never played defense, and last year we stuck him out there at free safety, and he almost led the conference in interceptions, and that was the hidden secret. See, we just didn't really want to play our quarterback because really he's our only quarterback, and we just didn't want to get him hurt, but he was able to go out there and do the things for us defensively, and we were kind of proud of that. This year, same thing. He's the quarterback, and I'm always believing that the quarterback is the leader of the team, and we just got to get him, make sure that he understands that, and make sure everybody's on the right track and on the same page that he's on.
And question for Aaron. Aaron, I've seen where you've gotten to go to a few camps this summer and kind of getting some exposure. What's it been like kind of balancing that part of, football and also getting ready for this upcoming season?
It's really just putting in the work for the upcoming season. If you don't put the work in, it's just you won't be prepared for the upcoming season. So by me going to the camps, that's just been getting me ready for the upcoming high school season and what I'm going to expect for going into college.
I wanted to ask a young man from Miami, from West Palm Beach. I think you told me you were. Terrell. Thank you, Coach. Terrell, I think you've been in. You told me how long you've been in Lochapoka?
For 6 years.
For 6 years. All right. The other gentleman, the other player, said they grew up in Lochapoka. What have you learned about Lochapoka since you've been there playing football?
That the culture is really different here. You know, the players are really determined when it comes to down the football season, and I really just enjoyed being here at Lochapoka.
Anybody else want to have any questions? Coach?
And I just, like to say,
come on up.
One thing about this guy right here is, see, he's the 200, 400 meter state champ in 1A. So
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. So he's a little bit shy, but I mean, he has improved. That's what I when I got there, as far as speed-wise and everything, and that's what I just keep telling him. You keep pushing yourself, running that type of speed here. You and do a good job. You're gonna be a 1A, Division I football player. I mean, when you run track like that and got the speed this guy got right here, and then with Aaron, they connecting together, that should make our program great. And just like DeMontre down there, he's come from a bloodline of great athletes from Lochapoka. Like we talked about, Pat Moore had 2,000 yards rusher, 1,000 years here. He's the same type. He's a speed guy too, got speed. And then you talk about Quincy. Quincy is a multiple player, played different ways on our team. To me, this summer, he's probably been the guy that's really been stepping out as the leader in the program, really pushing everybody, going around picking everybody up, because, we kind of spread it out a little bit there. So when you don't have bus routes to bring people, then you got to get everybody involved of getting the players there. So that's what these guys have been doing. They're seniors. They know it's their senior year. He got a car. He drives around, pick them up. He has a car. He drives around, pick them up. So that's what we've been doing. We've been doing a team thing, team building, of trying to bring this team together, and that's why I think I'm kind of excited about this year, because now I see everybody buying in, and that's what you have to do. Everybody's got to buy in for us to go in that direction.
I got one more question. I'm going to let Jordan have it. You seem like you're a little bit more pepped up in your stuff than a year ago, Coach. I know you've been settled down for a year, so I'm glad to see you. Must think your season's going to be nice.
Well, I just seen the guys on the off season, and when you watch kids on the off season put in what these guys been putting in, you will get excited, and that's what I seen. And then when I seen them do, like I say, the little things of, being a servant, going around picking up their other guys and calling guys on the phone and making sure, because we had that problem. When you don't have the transportation and be in the area that we're in, we're kind of a little bit in the area that's spread it over, and the guys are different places. And if there's not a bus route to come in, then we have, some problems.
My question is for our two guys right here, and you guys can just take turns. Like we've kind of talked about, the goal seems to be making it back to the playoffs. What have you seen from yourself and your teammates makes you think you guys are ready to take that step this year?
One big thing is leadership. Since my sophomore and junior year, Coach preached leadership. We really haven't had none until this year. I feel like us as seniors, we sit down and we talked about it. Just becoming leaders. We have to push everybody. If we push everybody, they're going to want to do the same thing as we doing. They see us working hard, they're going to want to work hard. It's just leadership.
I feel that we work hard on the field and off the field. We push each other in the weight room. We push each other on the field. And like Quincy said, leadership. We help each other.
All right. I got one more question. Oh, okay. You're good. Okay. All right, Coach Cole, we appreciate it. Lochapoka Indians going to tear up 1A this year and represent Lee County well. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
During the break, and we'll come back, and I guess Smith Station's next. Lochapoka. Jerry, these 1A kids are looking pretty buff, aren't they?
Yeah, it's amazing from last year. I saw a lot of 5'10", 145-pound kids up there. They have grown. And I saw on Facebook, Jeff Klein, who's an offensive coordinator, a good friend of mine from Auburn University, saw a little clip of their workout, summer workout. It was one of the most organized. They went to station, no fooling around. They were all business, and you could tell these kids have grown into men now.
Well, I know that D-Mark kind of made it like it was a joke. He said it's easier just to say where he hasn't coached. But I'm going to tell you something. L.C. Cole is a very good football coach, and he has brought a winning mentality to Lochapoka, and I think that they got good things coming this year.
Yeah, another good asset for LC is he's teaching these kids how to become men and, good citizens in the community. And you know what? It's going to be an interesting battle between Notasulga and Lochapoka this year. It should be one hell of a game, and probably a game that I'll probably pick to go watch.
Yeah, and they start off with Beulah. I think they're at home this year against Beulah. And, of course, the Bobcats come in here later today. They'll be in here around 11 o'clock. That should be a good football game.
Yeah, and Beulah's a question mark. They lost a great coach.
Yes, they did.
Let's hope they can keep that improvement upward. Let's hope, because they lost a great coach, and he had that thing turned around to where they're going to be real competitive. Hopefully this new coach coming in, Mark Johnson, I believe his name is, they'll keep it going. But they're a question mark right now. We're going to see how they turn out with the coach leaving.
Yeah, Matt Johnson, he's actually been at Beulah for 8 years. So
as assistant, good.
For the first time, when Cody came in, they were a lot like Valley. They were on the coaching carousel, and Cody stayed there for a couple of years, coached Flournoy, and now he's the athletic director and head coach at Jackson High School. Last year, Beulah went 8-3 and 5-2, hosted the first round for the first time in 11 years. But Matt Johnson was the offensive coordinator, and he's been with them, like I said, for 8 years. So I think that there's going to be more continuity than there was when Coach Flournoy came in.
They were both, Beulah was my pick, and I think yours, the surprise team of the year last year. And the community of Beulah was just going crazy with this football team, and it's something good to see because that football program has been real low.
Yes, it has.
And it got back to where it was real successful and makes you proud to be from Beulah.
Well, one of the great things.
Keep it going.
Right. One of the great things is, though, that they got a bunch of kids that now know what it's like to win, and that's one of the things that Coach Flournoy talked about is that, these guys did not have a winning mentality. That's what we talked about Valley. And Buster, Coach Daniels actually mentioned that today, that up until last year, those kids knew how to lose. So when things started going a little bit wrong, they just gave up. It was just, we're going to lose anyway. So.
Well, Eddie, when you taste that victory, it's like a 1-year-old his first taste of cake. You say, this tastes good.
Yeah, I had a different thing in mind, but
but that taste of victory.
That's right.
You get
that's
full,
right.
And you just want to keep on eating it. So hopefully, Beulah enjoyed that feeling of last year, and they'll keep it going. But Smith Station's coming up, and Coach Glisson.
Boy, did he do a fabulous job last year too.
There's another program that didn't know how to win, and. They made the playoffs last year, didn't they, or
no.
They just short?
No, they fell just short.
But real competitive. They got the team turned around. I know they lost a lot of seniors.
Well, they went 6-4 last year after going 2-18 the previous 2 seasons. And once again, you're talking about a coach that came in and he said, the first thing I'm going to do is love you, and the second thing I'm going to do is work you. And then we're going to play together as a team, and we're going to win some football games if you'll just do what we tell you to do.
Most kids, they want to be led by somebody.
That's right.
They want to be taught how to win. And Smith Station got a lot of good athletes over there. They get a leader like Coach Glisson. They're going to be back to where they were in the early 80s, very competitive football team.
Right. Well, let me remind everybody that this is Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game. This is presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. We really appreciate Orthopedic Clinic. Let me tell you what, Jerry, Orthopedic Clinic does a lot for athletics in this area. I know that they're one of the premier rehabilitation centers, but they do so much for athletics in East Alabama.
They do. Any sporting event, you'll see their name out there because they put a lot of time, effort, and, of course, money backing these programs up, and we appreciate everything they do.
Well, there's been years that you and I might not have been on the air if it had not been for Orthopedic Clinic. I'm sure that there are a lot of sponsors. Don't get me wrong, but Orthopedic Clinic is one of the premier sponsors for all sporting events around this area, and especially something like this where they come out and make sure that we're actually talking about them.
It's good to see DeMar Mitchell finally doing some work.
Let me have this right here for just a second. We're talking about the Orthopedic Clinic right now and how important they are to athletics in this area. And we also want to thank Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Keith Blackman Country Financial, Hyundai of Auburn, Rice Real Estate, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home and Crematory. I really like them. And Kenny Knox Tire Center. We got our old buddy, the leader of the pack.
Leader of the pack. What pack? Good morning, General.
It's still morning.
Morning. When you start earlier like we do.
Well, I asked Jeff if
we're on the air at 6. So.
I asked Jeff what he thought about starting an hour earlier, and of course it didn't bother Jeff.
No. Jeff asked me when are you going to come on the show. I said I might, but 6. I don't know.
6 o'clock hours difficult.
Maybe I'll meet y'all at 7.
That'll be fine. Y'all have done a great job as always. What a beautiful turnout.
I tell you what, we got 9 teams today and 10 tomorrow.
This is a great thing we're doing here. You guys got it started last year, and I think it's going to get bigger and better every year, Mark.
Thank you. I agree with you. I agree. We've got added business.
Well, this is one of the premier events in the state.
I'm glad we're having it.
I am too.
We're about to have somebody else move up.
All right. It looks like the Smith Station Panthers are coming to the podium, and we'll go up to the boss man now.
All right, we're going to continue with high school football media days here on Fox Sports 910 a.m., 1310 a.m. The Game. We appreciate everybody also listening to us on the iHeart Radio app and watching us on Facebook and on WOTM cable. We appreciate them covering this event. The Orthopedic Clinic is our presenting sponsor. We appreciate them, and also want to thank our other many sponsors: Hyundai of Auburn, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home, also Rice Real Estate Services, Kenny Knox Tire Center, Keith Blackman Country Financial, and also Frederick Dean Funeral Home. We've heard from a lot of teams. We've heard from a lot of schools that have improved. A lot of our teams here in East Alabama had really good seasons last year, and I don't think anybody turned things around quite like the Smith Station Panthers did last year. Coach Mike Glisson is entering his second season at Smith Station, and last year team was 6-4 and just missed the playoffs. But the previous 2 seasons, Smith Station had a record of 2-18, so I think that was quite a turnaround, 6-4, and I know they're building on that success they had last season in one of the toughest regions in 7A in the state. So please welcome up Coach Mike Glisson and the Smith Station Panthers.
Good morning. Doesn't seem like it's been a year since I stood up here, but I guess it has been. So I'm just glad to be here today, and we're excited about the upcoming football season. Our kids really work hard. They do what we ask them to do, and we're just excited to get started. And I told somebody a minute ago, I said, in my 30 years in coaching, this is the fastest summer I think I've ever had, mentally anyway. I mean, we woke up one day, it was summer break, and the next day we're a month away from football season. So it's quite a turnaround. I don't know what else you want me to say.
I like that. Coach Glisson is fast and to the point. All right, we'll open up for questions. You want to start back here? All right.
Maybe I should introduce who I have with me. Maybe that'd be a good idea. I have Jordan Jones, who's an upcoming junior linebacker, Corey Minton, upcoming junior quarterback, and Christian Williams, the lone senior D lineman. They're with me today, and I'm going to brag for just a second on how far we've come. Christian has received an offer from Faulkner University. Jordan, who's just going to be a junior, has received an offer from UAB and Troy. And right now, as it stands, we were talking about on the way up this morning in the car, and I think it's just a thing of how hard these kids have worked and how hard they have believed and bought into what we're doing. Right now at this time, we have 5 kids that's been offered. This time last year, we had none. So I think that's a tribute to them and how hard they work and the job they do in the classroom and everything else. And, of course, that's, you want to win football games, but you also want to help these young men move on and get part or all of their education paid for through using the game of football.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Just walk us through the makeup of this team, how many guys you got coming back, and how many guys you lost from last year.
We got 7 starters on offense back. We got 6 starters on defense. We have quite a few guys that got to play a good bit. I lost a few seniors that were really special, and my whole senior class was really special. I'm talking about a class that their last 2 years of high school football their 2 years before I got there, they had been 1-19 on the field, and I think there was a forfeit in there that made them 2-18. But they bought in and went to work, and that senior class, I was their 3rd head coach, and they didn't miss a beat. They did exactly what we as a staff asked them to do, and they helped turn this program and get it headed in the right direction. And that's what we said the whole way with those seniors last year. You're going to be the group that's going to help get this thing going back in the right direction. So we're excited about our senior class this year. I got some really talented young kids, some sophomores. A lot of sophomores are going to play. In fact, the last game last year against Eufaula, we started 6 freshmen. We had some injuries, and we had to start who we had. And so, we were fortunate enough to win that game. But those guys are talented, and I'm excited about this group of kids. I've said it since I've gotten there. In my 30 years, this is the best kids as a group I've ever dealt with. We just have a really tremendous group of kids, and that's a tribute to their parents and the community. I'm excited about them, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. As a coach, you're always cautious. You're always worried. I'm worried about those 10th graders, that first Friday night against, Russell County, how are they going to respond? And so, I'm excited about their talent level and the way they work and their attitudes, and I think we can do a lot of things with these kids.
Central's a team that, coming off winning state, or ranked top 25. Auburn's a very talented team, too, almost beat them last year. Is this the hardest region in all of Alabama, and how do you come out of this region to the playoffs?
I wish you wouldn't have said all that, but yeah, this region is there's none any better. And let me give you an example or some evidence to back that up. We had Central, who won the state championship, 52-7, I believe the score was. The week before the state championship in the semifinals, they play our 4th place team, Lee, and they scored with 18 seconds left to beat them. So if that doesn't tell you how good this region is, I don't know what else to tell you. Auburn's been good for a long time. Central's good. The Montgomery schools are good. Prattville's good. Enterprise has got a new coach who's probably going to get them back going better than they've been lately. No doubt it's a tough region. I told somebody the other day, they asked the coach, how's the football team? And I said, well, I think we're bigger. I think we're stronger. I think we're faster, more athletic. And they all, Coach, that's going to be good. I said, but remember now, there were 6 football games last year that could have went either way, and we won 4 of them. So, there was only 4 games, 2 wins and 2 losses that weren't really in doubt to the last couple of minutes. So, it's tough. It's a tough region, but it's good football. I don't think there's anybody in our region that wouldn't tell you it's as tough a region or good as football as there is anywhere in high school football.
Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Good. The situation you inherited at Smith Station 2-18, the prior years, and all the different coaches that they had, when you got there, what did you see and what did you say to yourself was this is going to change to help turn Smith Station around?
I hear a lot about changing culture. I don't know anything but one way to do it. I've been with some really good head coaches through my career, and I just did it the way we've always done it. I went in there and we were positive. I told them we weren't going to worry about what's happened in the past. We were going to look forward. And I found a bunch of kids that were hungry. And a bunch of kids that were ready to go to work. They didn't question. Like I said, they're great kids. I mean, it's fun to coach them. I was able to hire some really good people. I hired some football coaches I didn't think I'd be able to hire, and I was able to hire them, and they came in and went to work. And I mean, there's no magic formula. I mean, you lift weights, you run, you work them, you push them to the max, you push them to where they don't think they can go anymore, and then you try to get a little more out of them. And that's kind of what we did and the way we went about it. And they believed, and having success early was important. You say all that, but if those first couple of games, if we would have stumbled and not done well, it would have been tough. I mean, because once they had some success, then they say, hey, wait a minute, this is working, and it makes it a lot easier. But, it's a group effort. It took parents, it took boosters, it took everybody involved. And it's been a good experience. And now we're ready for round 2. And, you can go from the penthouse to the outhouse in a hurry. So we got to get back to work again.
And that being the next question, as Justin touched on, the area that you're in, incredible talent, quite possibly the best in Alabama. How do you go from 6-4, just missing out on the playoffs, which is a huge improvement from where this team has been, to that 7-3, 8-2 range that is sitting in the playoffs?
Well, I'll give you an easy answer. We could have scored 4 more points in that Prattville game, and we'd have been in the playoffs in 7-3. But, it's the same thing. We're going to go to work. We're going to take each week. And we had a motto last year, win the day. And I didn't change it this year on purpose, because I said we're still trying to get better every day. Nothing's changed. I'm real simple. We're going to try to get better every day at whatever it is we're doing. And it pays off on Friday night, and you got to watch the little things. I mean, and people, I think a lot of people nowadays, I'm a little things person. We had a rule. We got a locker rule. What your locker's got to look like when you leave. And I think all that just builds into, doing what you're supposed to do, doing things the right way, giving everything you've got, and whatever it is you're doing, whatever your role is, that's important. And hopefully we can find a way to win 1 more game or 2 more games or whatever and get in the playoffs. But that's everybody's goal, But first of all, we got to get better every day, and we got to win that first one before we can look on down the road.
Coach, how do you handle this season knowing that you won't be able to sneak up on anybody this year, since pretty much everybody knows that you are a playoff caliber team at this point?
Well, I hope we can sneak up on somebody, I guess. But, I don't know about sneaking up. Nowadays with film and all we have and all the access we have nowadays, I don't know if you can sneak up. Sure, people probably didn't take us seriously some early in the year. But I think after those first few games we played some really good football teams. I think after a while people took us serious. And I don't think we snuck up on anybody later in the year, but we just got to go to work, get better every day. I mean, like I said, I don't know a magic formula, and we're going to prepare for every team. And like I said, I got some really good coaches that do a great job of breaking the other team down and putting our kids in a chance where they're in a chance to be successful. And that's important too. You gotta, if you take a kid that can't do a specific job and put him in it, and he's going to fail. And so that's another good thing I think that our coaches did a good job of, is they put kids where they needed to be so they could be successful. Mm-hmm.
I got a quick question for Corey. Okay. Corey, last year you had a chance to play quite a bit, took some lumps and bruises. What did you learn, and what are you going to carry over to your upcoming junior season at quarterback?
Well, one thing I really learned was that getting on the same page with your teammates and, everybody knowing the offense like the back of their hand, especially me, it really helps out when your receivers know the right routes to run and everybody's just on the same page, and it's like a perfect coordination.
I'll start with a question for you. You talked about the experience you got, but going into this season, how big of an asset is it for you to have a guy like L.C. Harris back there that can carry the load and help out?
Oh, it's a huge asset, actually. Just knowing, like, I got a man to my right or to my left, whichever side he's on, that, he can get me 4 yards if I need 4 yards or however many. And he play-by-play, he's just running and he's just loading and carrying. He's a workhorse.
A question for Jordan. Jordan, you were part of a defense that, helped you guys get right there at the edge of making the playoffs. What's the motivation been like for you and your teammates to take that next step, like we've been saying, in such a tough region?
Oh, well, we got a lot of guys that really want it, and we got a lot of guys that are willing to work hard, and it all starts in the weight room and on and off the field, especially in the classroom. And, we got a lot of good coaches like Coach Glisson, and we got a lot of coaches on, like, really the whole coach, all of the coaches, they give, they really put their all into it, just like the players does. And they care about the athlete. Well, they care about you first before they care about the athlete in you. That's really good, and that's what us kids are looking for.
Also got a question for Christian. Looking back on last season, can you remember a point, even if it was before the season started, where you saw something that felt different with the way you guys were going about things?
Well, seeing how last year was my first year playing high school football, I seen, just being a student at the school that, the football team wasn't as good as it is now. And with Coach Glisson coming on, it was more of like the best change that it could be for the football team. And so as the season was going through, everybody's getting more momentum, everybody's getting better and better. And it was basically all thanks to Coach Glisson and all of the coaches that pulled us all together and made us just a very good football team worthy of the playoffs.
I also have a question for Coach. Coach, we talked about the fact that when you came in, this team was 1-19 on the field. I'm sure they were hungry to get some wins. Could you tell kind of a difference this offseason, the fact they got a little bit of that and, that there is a want to get even more going into this season?
Yeah, I think the term, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, y'all still use this term, swag? No? What is it now? Who? Whatever he said. All right. But, yeah, when the kids win and they start believing they're going to win, when you can get kids to believe they're going to win, that's when you've got over the hump because, when you have doubt in your mind, it's easy to fail. But when you think you're going to win, you believe you're going to win, you go out there, and when things happen, you don't panic. When things come up for you to have a chance to win, then you're going to make those plays, and you're going to believe you're going to make those plays, and that's big, And, of course, any team that has lost a lot of games, not had much success, it doesn't take a whole lot for them to say, uh-oh, here we go again. And, and that's what I was amazed at last year with our kids. They didn't do that. We had some success early, again, like I said, which helped. But, even later in the year, I think we trailed Enterprise most of the game and came back and won down there, and that's not easy to do. It doesn't matter, Enterprise is a little down from what they have been in years past. It's still, as Jerry Bavard can tell you, it's a tough place to go in and win. Enterprise is. And it don't matter if they're good or struggling, whatever. They play well at home, and it's a tough environment to win. And once they start believing they have a chance and they believe they're going to win, I've never been in a situation where I didn't believe I was going to win or didn't think we had a chance to win. I'm not wired that way. Now, I've had some people show me, no, you're not going to win this one, and that's okay. But, that's just part of maturing as a football team and getting better.
All right, I got one final question for Christian. Christian, you said last year was your first year playing football. You've been at Smith Station for a while, though. What was it that made you come out for the football team after a couple of years of not real good football?
If I can be honest with you, I started football because I had nothing else to do. That's just me being honest. But also I was already a big dude in school, but I wasn't basically muscular. It was just me being tall and everything. And I had teachers and other football players telling me to, come out and play and all that. And in the beginning, I didn't want to play because, the football team had a losing, streak and all that. And it just probably wouldn't make me feel good if I was a part of that too. That's just me being honest. But coming onto the team, when Coach Glisson came and the way that he spoke to everybody and the way that he treated everybody as a head coach that the team really needed, it made me realize that this was something that I needed to be a part of. And so as my first year playing, it was bad for me just looking down at it, like, my season in general wasn't that good, and I beat myself up about it. But, you know, Coach Glisson and the defensive line coach, Coach Sanders, they really, you know, brought me up, and I just had to work, like, every day, better and better. And so that's why I had to just, you know, keep playing a part of the team. And now I'm in a position where I can play college football, and I didn't think I would have this opportunity. So
And here he is at Media Days. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Congratulations for all y'all being here and a great season last year. Coach Glisson, Smith Station, good luck next season. We appreciate y'all joining us here at High School Football Media Days. We'll take a quick break and come back with more here on Fox Sports 910 a.m., 1310 a.m., The Game.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Get along on down the road. We got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Huddle up and huddle in to the newly renovated, family-friendly, smoke-free Huddle House. Stop by and enjoy our new updated look on Highway 280 in Sylacauga. We have the same great food, and as always, you can enjoy any meal anytime, from breakfast to lunch to dinner, or even a midnight snack. Add one of our signature waffles to your meal for that ultimate dining experience.
Huddle up and huddle in.
That's right, ladies. Freshly remodeled and smoke-free, any meal anytime. Highway 280 in Sylacauga, it's the Huddle House. A funeral service represents a family's final farewell to their loved ones. Knowing this, we go beyond what is expected to ensure the ceremony is beautiful and memorable, a truly fitting tribute to that special life. We invite you to visit us to meet our staff and tour our renovated facility complete with a new dining area and catering services. We've been serving the people of this area for over 40 years, and we think that you'll be pleased to find that making lasting impressions remains our first priority. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back into original condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision.
Where quality is no accident.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Because he had a boy that played on Smith Station. Smith Station is, coming off of a, kept hearing they're coming off of a great season. A lot of people say, well, they were only 6-4. Well, they were only 6-4 against the best competition
in the state of Alabama.
Y'all are, yeah. That was pretty good. We were talking with a lot of backs on the camera, but that's good. Yeah, I don't know of any region anywhere in any classification that has better teams than Region 2 7A.
Yeah, and every year you got some teams that are expected not to do too well, like a Robert E. Lee or Jeff Davis turn out to be pretty good teams, and some that you expect to be pretty good turn out to be. So from year to year, you don't know what teams you need to worry about. You better just get ready to play football every Friday night in that region. And also, starting next year, they had another team, the Dothan.
Yeah.
I think it's the Wolves.
Dothan Wolves with Coach Smitty Grider.
They combined Dothan and Northview, so you're talking about a lot of good athletes playing on one football field. Good to see you.
That's two teams that have won state championships.
Right, in
the past. And I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that a lot of people are upset about is that this school came together, these two schools came together and made one of the largest schools in the state. And they're going to compete in 6A this year.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go back to
continue with our media days here on Fox Sports The Game, presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. And we certainly appreciate all our participating sponsors, Jeff Cochant Funeral Home, Hyundai of Auburn, Country Financial, Keith Blackman. Of course, he sponsored our last segment with Smith Station, Kenny Knox Tire, Rice Realty, and Frederick Dean Funeral Home. Lord, we appreciate all those folks for making our media day possible, and we certainly appreciate all our media that has gathered here today. It's great to see all our print, social media, and television. We got them all today, so thank you very much for participating, and our coaches for being here, and our players on this Tuesday. With no further ado, it's now time to bring up, talk a little bit about the Springwood Wildcats, the Springwood School. Coach John Gartman, this time a year ago, had gotten a job about just a few days before we had media day. So you talk about being behind the 8 ball or behind the football. Coach Gartman entered a tough season there, entering late in the year, but he did win 4 games. His team won 4 games. 2 of those wins were against the highest classification in 3A. And Coach Gartman won the 2012 state championship as the head coach at Pickens Academy. So he certainly can coach football. We know that. Today he has number 15, Jordan Plank, number 4, O.J. Tolbert, and number 88, Coleman Hull. I'll bring up to the microphone Coach John Gartman.
Good morning. I got to say, what a difference a year makes. I was thinking about that when I walked in. This time last year, I don't think I could find my office. I didn't have a place to live, and the kids I brought with me I knew nothing about. So it's very nice to be settled and have some familiarity, and I'm very thankful for that. As far as this year is concerned, we're very anxious to get started and looking forward to it. And our program basically revolves around 3 key principles every single year. The first thing we want to do is we want to conduct ourselves with class on and off the field. The second thing is play hard and disciplined every play of every game throughout the year. And the third thing is to improve consistently throughout the year. So those 3 things are what we focus on. And the main reason why we focus on those things is because it's something that every team can do. You know, whether you got 22 all-state prospects and you're going to roll through everybody, or you don't have a single player that can play a lick, every team can always get better. So I think that is the way to go about it, is to kind of focus on winning the day and kind of having a nearsighted approach and just trying to do what's in front of you as best you can. Last year I didn't feel like we did that as well as we should have, and that's nobody's fault but mine. But hopefully this year will be much improved. But at the end of the day, as long as we execute and we play hard and we play with class, I can live with whatever results we have. Now I'm going to introduce some of our players. To my left, we have Jordan Plank. Jordan is our quarterback. He'll be a 3-year starter. When I came here last year, the offense I wanted to run and the kind of offense that Jordan was accustomed to were night and day different. But as we've gotten to know each other, he's gotten familiar with me, and I've kind of adapted some things to take advantage of his strengths. So I expect Jordan to have a very good year for us. Over to my far right, we have O.J. Tolbert. O.J. is our main running back, and there's not a coach in the state that likes to run the football more than I do. So he will get plenty of carries this year, and I expect him to be very productive. And we also have Coleman Hull right here close to me. Coleman is our main receiver, and he's also our kicker. He's a very good kicker, which is quite a weapon to have in small schools. I can't think of how many games I've coached in where the other team scores and it's 7-0, and then you score and you miss an extra point and it's 7-6, and then you spend the rest of the game chasing that point. So Coleman will be a real weapon for us. He's consistent on PATs, and he can make some field goals for us. So he's definitely an asset for us. Well, having said all that, if anybody has any questions, we'll be glad to take them.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm all right.
About this time last year, we found out that your team was leading their own workouts because they didn't have a guy to do it for them. What else has changed over the past year aside from
We've had good participation in our summer workouts, particularly with OJ and Jordan. Jordan's bulked up a good bit. He's worked real hard, and I expect both of those guys to have really good years. They've worked very hard.
Coach, if you could kind of give us the landscape of this team, how many guys do you have returning, and where do you feel this team is in comparison to last year when I guess you're at this point just a couple days into the job?
Well, let's see. We probably about, on both sides of the ball, probably about half our starters are coming back, 5 or 6 guys. We got Jordan back at quarterback, which is always a plus for any team. I would say last year's team had more numbers, but a year of continuity will help a lot with this team. So we'll probably offset that.
Coach, how would you describe the difficulty of this region that you're in when you have the state runner-up in Bessemer Academy, and then you've got Glenwood, a team that very well could have been in the state championship game as well on your schedule this year?
We don't play those two teams. They're not in our region. We're in 2A. But we do have to deal with Otaga. That's okay. Well, we do have to deal with Otaga, though, and they've been the best team in the AISA the last 2 or 3 years. So they're very difficult to deal with. Edgewood was very good last year. They were much improved. I expect them to be very good again. So we have a challenging region for sure.
Hey, John, right here. You look at the fact you kind of came in late, and I've heard coaches before talk about when that happens, the second year is kind of like year one, trying to get your feet under you. How much of a difference is it for you as a coach, knowing these guys, the familiarity as you go into that second year?
A very big difference. Especially, I mentioned that with Jordan. We've adapted. Several years ago when I was at Pickens, we had a very successful offense running base wing T with some veer principles mixed in it. And it really revolved around a quarterback who I had who was my best runner by far. And really that offense that we ran then was built for him. But coming in and not knowing anybody, that's kind of where I started with the team we had last year. But this year's team is going to kind of start with what Jordan does well. So, the way I ran the offense a few years ago for that quarterback that I just mentioned, I'll do that for Jordan now. And having some time to know him and work with him, that'll help a lot.
I have a question for Jordan. If you want to go up there. Kind of going off of what Coach just said, for you, what was that adjustment period like last year, getting used to what he wanted, and what's been the biggest difference as far as how you think the offense will look this year?
Oh yeah, it was a huge difference. I mean, I ran spread my whole life and come from a coach who was primarily a passer and throwing for 1,300 yards my sophomore year, and then having Coach Gartman come in, who's primary wing T, and it was a huge difference and kind of a shocker for me just to get thrown into that kind of an offense that I've never ran before. But since I've had this year to kind of get my feet under me and I'm used to it, and we ran it for half of last year, I'm really comfortable in the way that I run, and I'm very comfortable with OJ right behind me and Cannon Key, who's going to be our fullback, and I'm very confident in their abilities, and I'm excited to see how this offense is going to work this year.
I want to ask, too, about your brother. I've heard Coach talk a lot about what he's able to do. Just what have you seen from him as he gets ready for the season?
Yeah, Ethan is he's a good athlete. I'm excited about him coming back to play for us. He's primarily a baseball player and had questions about if he wanted to play football or not, and I was able to kind of talk him into it. And then his first varsity game was against Otaga, which is kind of getting thrown straight into the fire. And I talked to him after. I said, man, I'm proud of you for the way you played. I mean, he played against Otaga's first varsity game. He's a great athlete. He works hard. He's very disciplined. He's bigger than me. He's running back, so he's very disciplined. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year.
I had a question for OJ. OJ, you had a big season for you guys last year. Tell me a little bit about the work you put in this offseason to make sure that you're even better this year.
Well, all I can say is that without work and hard work and effort, you won't get nowhere. So I just come to workouts, summer workouts every day, go as hard as I can to push everybody so I can be one of the leaders, I can say, and make the team better and make myself better as a whole.
Had a question for Coleman as well. Coach was talking about the different roles that you fill for this team. Just what's that challenge like, and how much do you enjoy the fact you're able to do so much to help your team?
I enjoy being able to play different roles. It's good for me. Last year I got to play a little split end, a little tight end on offense, got out at corner and safety on defense. So just being able to rotate around and help the team wherever they need me, whether that's kicking the football, catching the football, covering someone. It doesn't matter to me what I have to do to make the team better. I just want to be a part of the process and hopefully get us a win every single week. So that's all it is for me.
Coach Gartman, before I give it to Scott, I want to ask you a question. Your schedule at Success Unlimited, at Cornerstone Christian, open at Edgewood Academy, home against Autauga, home against Chambers, home against Morgan, open, home against Coosa Valley, home against Layside, at Lee Scott. 3 on the road early, the rest of them at home until the end. That's a unique schedule.
Yeah, actually, it's 4 on the road area. We recently added Lowndes, so I got to let y'all know about that. We'll play Lowndes in that open date on September the 6th. So we'll start out with 4 straight road games, and then the rest of them will be at home except for Lee Scott, and that's very close. So, we'll be road warriors for the first half of the year, and then after that we'll be at home or very close to it.
Coach, do you have a plan? Springwood is a great tradition. I know. Have you got a plan in place 3-4 years down the road that you hope to be able to challenge for a state championship? The school's played, I think, in 13 championship games, won 4 or 5. Do you have a plan that you'd like to see after 3 or 4 years of building?
Well, I remember those teams. When I was in high school in the mid-'90s, Springwood went to 3 straight state championships and played Pickens and had to travel all 3 times. They had some very good teams back then, and Springwood also had some good teams back in 2010 and 2011 under Coach Sykes. I coached against those teams, and they were very strong. But really, for me, what it goes back to is that one thing I've learned is that you're going to have ups and downs in high school. So I think what you really have to do is you have to apply the same principles every year. I'll give you an example of that. Back when I first started coaching in 2002 at Morgan Academy as defense coordinator, coaching with my dad, who's retired now. We had a good team that year, and then the next year we won the state championship. And then we had another good team in 2004, and then we won the state championship again in 2005. So I'd been coaching for 4 years, and we won 2 state championships. So I was thinking I was a pretty good coach at the time. And then the next year, going into 2006, we lost 20-something seniors, a lot. And then we had 3 key holdovers from that year that would be seniors the next year. And 2 of them were linemen, 1 of them was a running back. Well, one of the linemen tore his ACL in the spring. The other lineman broke his ankle against Southern in a jamboree. And then the running back, we played Macon East the first game of the year, and they had a good team. He rushed for 150 yards in the first half and then broke his ankle early in the third. We ended up winning mostly because of what he did. But so we're sitting there at the end of the first game in 2006, and the whole team from the year before was gone, and we ended up going 4-6. So we went from 12-1 to 4-6 off of losses from seniors and a few injuries. So that was a very humbling year. And I learned then that, you're going to have ups and downs, and you can't really look at it as far as we want to win X number of games 2 or 3 years from now. You just kind of have to take it year to year, day by day, and try to make what you have better. That is the only thing any coach can do.
OJ, going back to what Jordan was asking earlier about workouts, I know that you've kind of had your, ups and downs with health in the past. What are some of the things that you've been doing different this offseason to stay healthy this season?
Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but lately I had a lot of ankle problems. And so, not saying that I focus on lower body, but mostly I want to focus on lower body because that's what I'm going to need is lower body because I'm a running back, and that's what you need to move piles and keep him get more yards. So I've been focusing on a lot of quickness, planting to get my ankle strong so I can be strong throughout the season and hold on for everybody.
And for Jordan, Jordan, how is this, second off season, or I guess first full off season with Coach Gartman been kind of, playing with this system and stuff?
It's good. Like you said, this time last year, he had been head coach for 2 days. So getting used to his workout programs and having guys that are disciplined enough to come to the workouts and being consistent with our workouts. It's a great program, and I'm very excited about how our work in the weight room and just learning our plays is going to transfer onto the field. I'm excited to see how that's going to work out. It's very different, like I said earlier, but I like the system, and we're the kind of team that kind of system is built for, and I'm really excited about him bringing that system in and kind of diversifying our offense. And even though we are primarily a wing T team, we have diversified our offense, and where we can run some kind of spread and just get to throw the ball a little bit more and stuff like that.
All right, guys, appreciate it. And I tell you, it was one crazy situation last year when Coach Gartman took over. He really, literally got hired, I think, a week before media days?
I think this thing was on a Thursday, and I started on a Monday, something like that. So.
And then the whole team had workouts during the summer, and they ran them themselves.
Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't have to do it that way this year. We've had good participation with our summer weight program. To me, the most important thing in any weight program is consistency. You can have the greatest program ever, but if kids are here on Monday and you don't see them again for 2 weeks, it's hard to get anything done there. So we've had some consistency there, and that's been good for us.
Well, Coach, I know Springwood's excited to have you. Good luck, guys. We appreciate y'all coming. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a quick break here on Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game. We'll be back with more after this.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Get along down the road, we got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Huddle up and huddle in to the newly renovated, family-friendly, smoke-free Huddle House. Stop by and enjoy our new updated look on Highway 280 in Sylacauga. We have the same great food, and as always, you can enjoy any meal anytime, from breakfast to lunch to dinner, or even a midnight snack. Add one of our signature waffles to your meal for that ultimate dining experience.
Huddle up and huddle in.
That's right, ladies. Freshly remodeled and smoke-free, any meal anytime. Highway 280 in Sylacauga, it's the Huddle House. A funeral service represents a family's final farewell to their loved ones. Knowing this, we go beyond what is expected to ensure the ceremony is beautiful and memorable, a truly fitting tribute to that special life. We invite you to visit us to meet our staff and tour our renovated facility complete with a new dining area and catering services. We've been serving the people of this area for over 40 years, and we think that you'll be pleased to find that making lasting impressions remains our first priority. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back into regional condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision,
where quality is no accident. Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Welcome back to Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, and WOTM TV on Charter. High School Football Media Days, the second annual event, and we're honored to have John Rich from Orthopedic Clinic with us. Events like this wouldn't take place if it wasn't for the sports medicine department of, I guess you call it the sports medicine department of Orthopedic Clinic. And John, you're the director of sports medicine, is that correct?
That's correct. We're glad to be a part of it. You know, we cover a lot of these high schools providing their sports medicine care, and our physicians really enjoy being a part of this stuff, and we're glad you all put it together, and it's great to be a part of it again this year.
Well, and this, we talked about this in our last segment. This is one of the many, many things in athletics that Orthopedic Clinic participates in, and I know that there are a lot of kids that play high school football, basketball, baseball, all other sports, track, whatever, that are really, they don't even know how fortunate they are to have the orthopedic clinic here because of the access they have to great doctors and great physical therapists.
Yes, it's good. It's our physicians really allow me to run the program, how to make sure our athletes are put first and they're getting the best care. You know, whether it's someone that gets hurt that evening and we get them there the next morning, or during football season when we run the Saturday morning clinic, being available to our patients and to our athletes and to our community is really our goal, and our physicians are a big part of that.
John, silly question, but do you have a schedule like Trent? You're going to be at the Auburn game, and John Doe be at the Opelika. Do you have a schedule, or are you?
Yes. So, you know, we cover 13 high schools. Not all of them have football, but the ones that do, I have an athletic trainer that goes to each one of those games. Myself, I actually have, since I got here in 2011, I've been covering Handley High School in Roanoke, Alabama on Friday nights. So, you know.
That's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it has been. You know, they've had two great seasons, 1-2 state championship, 5 years apart. First one being the first year I was with them, so that was a great experience. And, you know, and they're hopefully building towards another one, you know.
Do you have clinics for each high school? I noticed they have some student trainers. Do you give them clinics or something like that before the season starts?
Yeah, well, especially at Auburn and Opelika and are some of our larger schools that have the capability to have student athletic trainers. They get them through the summer. They have them interview in the spring, and they get them ready. They help them out from everything from hydration to taping and things like that to help the flow of the game and make sure the kids are getting taken care of.
That's great.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize what goes into sports medicine. It's not just somebody there, a doctor there in case somebody hurts an ankle or something like that. They're there long before the game starts for hydration and how to not have cramps on Friday night, or in other sports the same, but we're coming into football, so we're going to talk mainly about football. Football is really one of the sports where hydration is much more important than a lot of other sports because of the humidity and the heat on Friday nights and the effort that exerted out of each muscle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's one of our main goals of the athletic trainers is really just to educate our athletes as well, making sure they're doing the right things throughout the week and preparing their bodies for Friday night games, whether that's, staying hydrated throughout the week, staying away from the fried foods. But we know we have high school athletes here, too. They want to enjoy what they're doing as a high school kid. And the biggest thing we can do is from the nutrition standpoint is to educate them because that's going to, reap the benefits on Friday night.
I also think one of the best things they did, it probably started about 15 years ago, these heat breaks.
Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest things they've ever done to really improve the conditioning for those kids. Because in the first, Eddie will know, the first 3 or 4 games of the year, it is tremendously hot. And that's a good thing. They've a rule change that I think has really benefited to those kids.
Oh, I think it's been great, especially like Coach from Opelika mentioned, those smaller schools, 1, 2A schools, those kids are playing both ways. The whole game, they're playing special teams. So those kids need those kind of breaks, You've probably got your best 11 on the field at all times,
So I want to go back to hydration for just a minute because there are a lot of us that are former athletes that think, in our minds we still are. And hydration is different for us now than it was when we were younger. But what are some ways that you can stay hydrated? I know drinking water is important, but sometimes water doesn't stay in your body long enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of things from the nutrition standpoint about eating, bananas, potassium before the games, things like that. Also, a lot of the sports drink companies that are out there, those are good pre-game and post-game things to add all those electrolytes and things back into your body. And then water's a good alternative for the in-game competition because that's going to try to keep you hydrated. But really just if you can stick to a good, well-balanced diet and using those sports drinks before competition to hydrate your body and get you ready to compete. And the thing that kills us here in Alabama is the humidity, really. Right. So hopefully when we get through the humidity in the first few weeks, we can kind of adjust our bodies to
John,
that.
tell me this. I've seen this in the last 4 or 5 years, mustard. Tell me about the benefit of mustard. I've seen actually some players on the sideline get a tube of mustard and just down. I mean, what's the benefit of that?
Back in the day, you heard a lot about salt tablets, things like that. So mustard has a lot of salt in it, and so really what that's doing is just getting into
same
their
thing
system.
With pickle juice.
Pickle juice as well. That salty, vinegary type substance.
And it actually gets in your system really quick.
Yes, it does, and that helps.
So obviously, we're at one of the premier events today, but what other type of things do y'all sponsor? I know you do a Saturday morning football scoreboard show.
Yes, we try to be involved. We're actually even involved with the City of Auburn and City of Opelika youth sports programs. We actually have an athletic trainer that covers those events as well. We cover a lot of the tournaments in the area as well, and we just have a lot of exposure to the community and taking care of our schools and trying to be a part of all the events that they put on, and being a part of iHeart Radio has been tremendous for us and the relationship we've built with you guys, and we really enjoy sponsoring and supporting the community.
Well, I think it's important, too, that you're able to get in with the young people and let them know early how important it is to not just go out and learn the game, but to learn how to take care of yourself because, as a lot of these coaches have talked about, it doesn't matter how good an athlete you are if you're hurt.
Yep.
And you can't play. But sometimes we just forget what's really important. And, I like that the coaches that we have here and the coaches in this area are really caring more and more about the kids. When I was young, you could be laying there with a broken leg and they'd be like, no, be a man, get up.
Yeah. No, we have great coaches and great support, and they really, utilize us from the sports medicine standpoint, so that's been great.
Well, John, we appreciate it. Director of Sports Medicine for Orthopedic Clinic. Thank you for dropping in.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue on high school football media days here on Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game. Also appreciate those watching on Facebook Live and also those that are watching on our websites across the board. And we appreciate WOTM TV, those watching us there as well on the charter cable channels throughout the state. And we're going to continue on now. We've got a couple more schools today. A reminder, we've got a whole nother big pack day tomorrow. Again, we'll be on the air at 8 a.m. again tomorrow with our final day of high school football media days. This school, Beulah High School, has a new head coach this year, Coach Matt Johnson. He was unable to attend today. We only had 2 head coaches that aren't going to be able to attend today. That had to be in Russell County and Beulah, but we do understand Coach Johnson has school duties that he has to take care of today, so we understand that. But we're pleased to have with us assistant coach of the Bobcats, Coach Stan Pepper, with us today. The Bobcats had quite a year last year. They made it to the playoffs for the first time since 2007, and they hosted the first playoff game since 1995. So quite a turnaround season there for Beulah. They finished second in the region, a very tough region there in 3A, and had finished with an overall record of 8-3. So without further ado, we'll welcome up assistant coach Stan Pepper of Beulah High School. Coach.
Thank y'all very much. First of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here and to represent Beulah High School. And Coach Johnson, I know he would much rather be here than doing what he's doing today. Looking forward to our season. We got a bunch of young men coming back that have some experience playing this year and have some success, which is something we have not had in the past. We've had a long, hard summer. And this time of year, everybody's ready to get onto the football field, and because everybody's excited because you're undefeated. Everybody's excited because you have a chance to win a state championship. And that's something that we can talk about at Beulah for the first time in a long time, is we have a chance to win a state championship. And I know I got somebody coughing on that. But that's our goal. I mean, and that's why we're here. That's what we do is to win a state championship. And if that's not your goal, then you shouldn't be doing this sport in particular, because it is extremely hard, long days. We keep these guys up, 3-4 hours a day at practice, film work. And so if that's not our goal, then we need to find something else to do. With that being said, we also know that we have to take everything one game at a time. Now, our season is conducive to us being able to be successful. We had a couple opportunities last year where we should have won 2 more games than we did, including the playoff game. We were 7-0 in the playoff game, and honestly, should have won the game. But there are reasons that we didn't, and we're going to take those reasons that we didn't and put them to good use this year, so that we can go 3-4 deep and hopefully at the end of the year, have an opportunity to play for a state championship. We got 3 young men today that represent our program extremely well. Jaden Buffington is to my right. He's our offensive center, defensive lineman. When he plays wherever we need him to play on the defensive line. Say again? Okay. To my left is give me a second. Look, you asked me, I've been doing this for 28 years, and he's mad at me right now, but I kept popping into my head. No. Dylan Coleman. And there's a reason I have a nickname for him, so Dylan Coleman. But the thing about Dylan, I want to say something real quick, is he's one of those guys that he does what we ask him to do from a defensive standpoint. He started 2 years ago for us, and I told Coach then, I said, Coach, why is he on the field? Well, he's the best we've got. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And go watch film and go to practice every day, and he kept just getting the job done. And now he's going to be a senior this year. I don't think he's gotten off the field from a defensive standpoint. He plays strong safety, free safety for us, and he just gets the job done. And that's why I couldn't remember his name, because I have another name for him that so I can remember that he gets the job done for us. And then the last person over here is Chris Person. Chris plays outside linebacker for us, but more importantly, he's our leading returning rusher. Rushed for over 1,000 yards last year. One of the better running backs in the state, one of the best running backs we've ever had at Beulah by far. But he'll be the first one to tell you that's because of the players that are around him. And that's one thing about our team. Our team is selfless. They're all about teammates. They're all about doing what's best for the team. We don't have anybody on our team that is me, I. If they are, they don't play. And that's one thing that Coach Johnson is very high on. Something about Coach Johnson real quick. You know, Coach is a young coach, but he's extremely knowledgeable in the offense. He's extremely knowledgeable in the runnings of a proper program. And we're extremely happy for him to have gotten this job. And we're looking forward to many years of somebody wanting to be at Beulah, staying at Beulah, and building a program to where when we're here in the future and we talk about winning state championships, people will say, yeah, you've got a chance. So with that being said, anybody got any questions for me?
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey.
First question, how's the transition been both for yourself and the coaching staff as you transition away from Coach Flournoy into Coach Johnson, and how have the players adjusted as well?
I hate to say this, but it's almost like coaches never left. We're still running the same offense, same defense, doing the same things special team-wise, still doing the same things in the weight room. The only difference is you don't see Coach, you know, walking through the halls and stuff. So I think that that was one thing that we were hoping and praying it would happen, is that it better be a smooth transition. And I can't even say there is a transition, because it's just like he's, you know, maybe at a meeting or something. We should just keep on keeping on.
Next question I have is for Dylan.
Yes, sir.
Dylan, after this successful season you had last year, now there's expectations on the program. As the quarterback, how do you handle the season coming into expectations? And starting off with Lochapoka, that's a big game right there, week 1. How are you guys preparing for it? And just how are you handling where there wasn't expectations and now there are?
Well, I think it's kind of like last year. You know, we had high expectations coming into the season, and we're just as good this year, if not better than we were last year. We have a solid group of seniors again this year, and we're going to be prepared very well. Same offense, same defense. So we really know the program a lot better now, and I think Lochapoka, I don't think it'll be any different than it will last year. I think we'll have a better game even.
This question's for Coach. After such a successful season last year, and considering it had been the first one in a little while, how do you carry that over? And what's the biggest hurdle that you guys have to get over in terms of, you know, maybe battling complacency, or at least, you know, replicating that success?
Well, our guys have, they're finally getting used to winning. Winning's a habit just like losing, and we've broken the habit of losing. Not in just this sport, but in the school in general, in a lot of other sports. And that's carrying over. So our guys now expect to win. They know what it takes, and they know that if they do A, B, and C, and D in the process, the win will take care of itself. And that's what we finally gotten to, is our guys know they've got to show up every day to work out. They've got to work out. They've got to try to get better every time they come into the building. They want to be better than they were when they got there, when they leave. And they expect to win. It's not a cockiness. It's a confidence. And our guys are finally confident because we're doing the same thing on offense. We're doing the same thing on defense. We're doing the same thing on special teams. These guys are calling the plays on offense and defense when the coach is coaching somebody. They're calling the plays because they know now what the coaches want to accomplish. And when you get in that situation and everybody's on the same page, it's so much easier to win, especially when you have confidence in yourself, confidence in the program, and confidence in the people around you, and the people are doing their jobs like they're supposed to. It's a whole lot easier. And so That's why we are where we are today.
A question for Dylan.
Yes, sir.
You have the challenge of stepping in with Lonzie having graduated. Do you kind of enjoy the challenge at quarterback of, trying to keep this thing consistent and helping this team get back to the playoffs?
Well, actually, I want to comment on that. I play defense more than I play offense, but from a leadership standpoint, I think it's going to be kind of hard to fill Lonzie's shoes, but I don't think it'll be a problem. He brought the energy and he kept the team upbeat, and I think I do a really good job of doing that and getting us prepared. Before the games, pre-game, it's always hyped up, and I think we'll be fine.
A question for Jaden.
Yes, sir.
Jaden, want to ask about Chris. He's coming off of a great season for y'all. Just what's it like having a guy like that behind you and seeing what he's able to do with the ball in his hands?
Well, first off, if you don't get out of his way, he's going to run you over. And it makes us want to make holes for him. So, we kind of have to, or he's just going to hit a wall. About it.
I have a question for Chris, too. Chris, just how excited are you to try to help this team make last year not just an exception, but something that Beulah does every year, that they're in contention and that they can compete?
I'm very, very excited for that. I think we're going to do better things this year and all that.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Last year, I think you had 46 carries against Southside Selma. According to my records, that's an all-time local area record. Has Coach Pepper got you on a big 30-ounce Texas steak sandwich and whatnot to keep your strength up? But how, if you carry the ball that many times, what do you attribute in terms of your workouts that have got you stronger and stronger if they're going to look for you to use that much?
Well, I do. I eat a lot, work out a lot, mostly that.
All right, one more question.
Chris, how did you see the defenses kind of adjust to you as, you started making a little more noise in the middle of the season toward the second half of the year?
Question again?
How did you see last year in the second half of the season? How did you see opposing defenses kind of like adjust and game plan like to you?
Had to adjust to their defense and stuff, defending the players and stuff.
Right. Like you were kind of a breakout player last year for Beulah, yes. And then once your name started being, a little more brought up more, did defenses kind of key in on you more? Like, how did you adjust to that?
Yes, I feel like when they knew I was going to get the ball, they had their main focus on me.
And now being an 1,000-yard rusher and having that kind of tag on you and having that target on you, how have you prepared for that this season?
Working out harder, everything.
Okay. And Caleb's the starter still at quarterback? All right. And I had a question for Jaden.
Yes,
Jaden, Coach Johnson has told me all summer he's been big talking this group of linemen. Why do you guys think you work so well together?
Well, it's not just we're friends, we're a family. And we hang out a lot. We stay together most of the time. We work out together, and we do pretty much everything in practice together. We're always together, and we all work hard.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. I know, guys, just from being around Lee County football last year, the excitement around that program last year at Beulah was unbelievable. I know the first home game since 1995, the buzz that was created, I know it's going to carry over to this season. So good luck to you guys. We appreciate y'all coming, and good luck to Beulah. Thank y'all. We'll take a quick break and come back with more here on Fox Sports 910 a.m., 1310 a.m., The Game.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Silicaga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Silicaga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Marble City Pharmacy in Silicaga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
The USS Alabama is a World War II-era battleship that first served in the Atlantic Theater, but was better known for helping to take Japanese-held islands in the Pacific between 1943 and 1945. During the Battle of the Philippine Sea, the Alabama's state-of-the-art radar alerted the fleet to incoming aircraft, providing the Americans enough time to scramble fighters and decimate the attacking force. Later, the Alabama served during the Battle of Leyte Gulf and anchored in Tokyo Bay to unload Allied occupation forces. In 1964, the state of Alabama took possession of the battleship. Alabama school children raised $100,000 in nickels and dimes to help bring the ship to Mobile and create Battleship Memorial Park. The park features the Alabama, the World War II-era submarine USS Drum, and an American military aircraft collection. Battleship Memorial Park is one of the state's most visited attractions.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
This is on Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, and it's presented by the Orthopedic Clinic, brought to you in part by Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home and Crematory, Kenny Knox Tire Center, Rice Real Estate Services, Hyundai of Auburn, Frederick Dean Funeral Homes, and Keith Blackman Country Financial. So what'd you think about Beulah?
I think they're real confident that they're going to continue their upward track. They seem to got the same offensive, defensive schemes, and
they really didn't lose a lot of kids off of last year's team.
I'm surprised at that. So I look at that running back's a big and
impressive
kid, and Beulah's got a chance to go deeper in the playoffs this year if they just the quarterback play. He's a new quarterback, so we'll just have to see what kind of play they get from the quarterback.
Well, one of the things that impresses me is that the coach that's here and all of the guys are talking about they got a better team this year. They think they're a lot better. Something else, and I just want to mention, you and I have talked about this a lot on the show on Friday nights, but Smith Station, Valley, and Beulah were three teams that knew how to lose, and they could snatch defeat out of victory on just about any game. But now they've all learned how to win, and it's making a difference in the programs.
Yeah, Coach Pepper from Beulah said it perfectly. Not only is winning a habit, losing's a habit.
That's right.
So they have seemed to claim the winning habit, and I look for Beulah to have another good year. They won't be a surprise team this year. Let's put it that way.
And Coach Daniel also said, that last year one of the things that occurred was that at times when the losing attitude would have been, okay, well, here it goes again, that wasn't the way it was this time. These guys fight to the end, and it's really important that they continue to do that no matter what. We got one of the premier teams in the state coming up next.
Yeah, let me say something about the Auburn team. I live in Auburn. I've heard a lot of talk about this Auburn team is going to be down this year.
Yeah.
And I said, you're going to have to show me.
Yeah, I don't believe they'll be down.
Auburn reloads. They don't. I think they're going to be fine.
I think what people are looking at is you had some superstars that left this team. Guess what? They had superstars leave the year before and the year before and the year before.
They got a lot of athletes at that school. They reload. I just don't believe they're going to be down. They're going to be one of the top teams to win the region.
Well,
I know Central don't think they're going to be down.
No.
That's going to be one of their main threats to take this region. So, classy bunch. They come out here with suit and ties, which I think is pretty classy.
They'll walk in here in just a second with suit and ties on.
There's Coach Wingardner.
And just like when Central walked in here last year, these guys are big and strong and very athletic. This will be the first year in many, many years that they hadn't had Chiswick, who was
he was a coach on the field.
Yes, he was.
A very
also
kid.
had a quarterback last year that had played defensive back and was just gritty. The whole team was just gritty last year.
Yeah, that's why I say when they say this Auburn team's going to be down, I say you're going to have to show me.
Well,
that they're going to be down.
Well, a lot of people didn't know much about Coach Weingarten when he came in here, but one thing that I do know for sure is that he, like all of these other coaches, is oriented on the players. And I liked what one of the kids said a few minutes ago. He said, Coach looks at us, not the athlete in us first. He looks at us first. And that's where most of these guys are. This is not like the days that we were talking about with John a while ago where you got hurt on the field and the coach would come out there and say, you want to play? If you do, get up and play.
Yeah.
It's a different time now where the kids are more important than just winning.
Right, and this is a year-round sport now.
Yes, it is.
These kids put a lot of time and effort on it, and Auburn, we got 4 fine-looking athletes stepping up on the stage. A team that's used to winning. I can't remember how many years in a row they've been to the playoffs. I can't remember the last time they haven't been.
Well,
they've
been every year to the 7A playoffs.
All right, we'll continue our last school day of the first session of our high school media days presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. Well, again, we appreciate everybody being here this morning, and we'll gather back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock right here at the Southern Room at Southern Union State Community College for day 2 of our East Alabama Media Days. Our last school this morning is Auburn High School, and, of course, they have 4 young men here, Amari Porter, Kevon Carr, Aaron Diggs, and Paxton Gordon with us this morning, all looking dapper and sharp. Coach Adam Weingarten enters his 5th season as the head coach of Auburn High School. The Tigers have made 4 straight playoff appearances. The last 2 seasons, Coach Weingarten has led his Tigers to back-to-back 10-win seasons, 20-4 over the last 2 years. And those of you that were here all day understand this region. And this man to have that record in this region is very, very strong. I'll bring up to the microphone Coach Adam Weingarten.
Yes, sir, Coach. How are you guys doing today? So, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys. I know this is the 2nd year we've had media days. I think it's just a fantastic tribute to high school football and the promotion of high school football. And I just think that high school athletics in itself serves such a tremendous purpose throughout our country. And football in general, I think the nature of the sport is one that is something that is needed, across America. And I know it's not a sport that everybody plays, but it's a sport that I'm greatly passionate about and believe in, and just so thankful about the values it teaches us, because the nature of it is such a physical, brutal, aggressive, violent game, but it takes 11 men working together, playing as a unit, facing adversity on a consistent basis, not just on the field, but training for that off the field so they can perform as well as they can on the field. And they do it in front of large crowds. In the South, obviously we know that football is a huge part of the South, and there's a lot of passion about it. And for these young men to go out in front of thousands of people on a Friday night and represent their school and themselves and train for it and compete and face success and face failure teaches them lessons that I don't think we can put a price tag on. And just the fact that the media has decided to do this the past 2 years is just, we're just so thankful for you and joyful for your heart for this game and to promote this game. And I think the more we do it, the more this game will help impact the future of young people. So I guess we're going to open up for questions.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
First question, just take us through the makeup of your team, how many guys you got coming back on both sides of the ball and the guys that you lost.
Yeah. So we have about 5 returners on both sides. We have right now our roster sits about 110, and that's 10 through 12. That's actually at this point probably a smaller roster than what we've been used to. But honestly, 5 or 6 returners is pretty typical in high school football. Every team's going to be young every year. They're going to be young for one reason, because they're teenagers, and teenagers are young people. The second part of that is, typically you're going to have juniors or seniors that are going to be graduating and that type thing. So if you have a lot of guys returning, usually one of 2 things have happened. Either you have really struggled the year before and it's been a building season, or you are just super talented and were super successful. Typically you don't have a lot of guys back and you're kind of middle of the road kind of team. So if you look at most teams throughout the state that have consistent success, they're going to replace 5 to 6 a year, and that's kind of where we are right now.
Second question, Coach Glisson said that this is definitely the hardest region in all of Alabama to compete in. Would you agree with that? Obviously facing a Central team that's coming off a state title, then you got a Smith Station team that's on the up, and Lee is solid as well.
Yep. Well, I just think that it's the league itself is like he said, it's the SEC of Alabama. I think it's one of the top leagues in the Southeast. There's not a week that you're going to look at your schedule and think that there's just a W sitting there. Every week you're going to prepare to play and you're going to compete to win. And it's a tough league, but it's a challenging league. There's a lot of good coaches, a lot of good players. Every Friday night there's going to be a Division I athlete in the field, somebody that's committed to a Power 5 school. And that's just not typical across the country. And that is something that we compete against. But that's, if you're a competitor, that's what drives you. So we're thankful to have the competition. I know it makes us better and prepares us for the playoffs, and it makes. I think the thing we got to keep in mind is that football is nothing but a tool. This is a tool to help young people become better men for when they leave high school. And I'm not going to get on a huge soapbox here, but we talked to our seniors this past weekend about football is kind of like a plane ride. You get from point A to point B, and if you're on a plane ride and the plane just goes to Chicago and turns around and flies home, it really didn't serve its purpose. Because you've got to get off the plane to go visit why you went to Chicago. So the football season is kind of that. It's get from A to B and getting these young men off. Hopefully with lessons they've learned on the trip, it's going to help them better prepare for what they want to do next. And with that, when you're in a competitive league, the challenges are great every week. So every week, you have to work to improve. You have to be focused. You have to be concentrated. And so I think the development not only of a team as far as performance, but the development of a team as young men, I think that advances in this league. Because when you have high competition, there is no lax moments. There is no complacency. There's a growth. There's an advanced growth process every week on both ends.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Last couple of years, you've had some incredibly talented quarterbacks, Brooks Fuller, and then Griffin last year. How is that position looking for you this year, and how vital is that to the offense you run?
Yeah, well, the game is the football, so it's like we said, wherever the ball goes, that's the game, so we could play lights out on defense and lights out on special teams and turn the ball over 3 times and not win, So it's like, we talked about as coaches that from an employment standpoint, that ball is employment. We got to be able to take care of the football. It's like if your job depended on a ball, then we would chase it everywhere. So on defense, we've got to get to the football. On offense, we've got to run to the football. We've got to learn how to protect the ball, get the ball back. So with that, whoever touches the football the most is typically one of your most important players. So your center, your quarterback, tailback, that kind of thing. So that position is vital for our team, not just from a playmaking standpoint, but also from a ball protection standpoint. So we have two guys that are battling right now for that spot, and Patrick McGlon and Matthew Caldwell. I think they're both neck and neck right now. They've both made a lot of good plays in the spring and in the fall. In the summer competition dates. So we'll see how it plays out in the fall. But right now they're both progressing nicely.
And you've talked a lot about high school, developing them not only as players but as men and what they are going to accomplish in the future, maybe on or off the field. We just came from SEC Media Days where mental health was discussed at large. How are you working as a coach in that department? And what do you say you would instill in your players that you hope that they take off the field as well?
Well, I think that, you're trying to have them leave with a value set that's going to help them be better prepared when they leave. And, if you really think about it, it's everything in life we do is about relationships and working with people, So and when those things are lacking or, I think that's when you have a lot of those mental health type things you're talking about that fall into play. When you have people dealing with loneliness and searching for purpose and all those things. So people are always seeking value, right? And, in a team, you have a group of men that you're hoping are pouring value into each other, right? And you're hoping you're learning skills like hard work and facing adversity and committing yourself to something. All those type things that are necessary to be like successful in a job. But if you're talking about mental health, you're looking for a connection, right? You're looking for that feeling of value in your life and a purpose in your life. And you hope that if you put kids in a team that plays with purpose, that a program that instills that makes the program bigger than who they are. So they feel like they're part of something bigger. They are pursuing the relationships with each other. Our team mission statement this year that our seniors, they just came back from their trip and they made it is basically this, that the 2019 Auburn Tigers is a relentless brotherhood that is committed to a pursuit of excellence, all right, that will play fast, disciplined, with a dominating effort, okay? And we talked about those words, and we said, relentless brotherhood, what does that mean? And we talked about what brothers mean, how you take care of each other, how you, look after each other, how you just don't go in the locker room and get dressed. I mean, you have a mindset that, hey, the people around me are important, and this guy right here normally talks a lot. Today he's not. Like, why is that? Hey, I need to go ask how he's doing. Right? I'm in the hallway, and I know that somebody's in a situation that might not be good. I need to go step in and be a teammate. So we talk about, relentless is you got to be relentless about pursuing the relationships with each other. It's like we've been saying since spring is that your relationships and what you're doing with your teammates off the field is way more important than what you're doing on the field. Way more important. All right? And that's going to be the ultimate investment that's going to be not just about playing ball and performing. That's going to last for much, much longer than here. All right, so relationships in our program are very, very key. We used to say that. You get me on a soapbox. We used to say that teams are either player-led or coach-led. Either you have positive leadership of your players, or the coaching staff's going to have to take over, and lead them because they can't do it. And that's the false statement. I believe that for years, and that's just totally wrong. Every team is player-led, one way or the other. These kids are going to be around each other more than the coaches, more than probably with their parents, more than with their teachers. They're going to be around each other all the time. So the messaging they give each other is really, really key. So we really want to have an environment in our team that, number one, they're playing for something bigger than themselves, but it's really pushing them to care about each other, love each other, pour into each other, take care of each other, and help them develop that value system. Because when you're talking about that, you're discussing mental health, and when you're talking about when players leave, that's a key component to keep that healthy.
Coach, going back to kind of on the field for just a second, you've had tons of success since you've been here, but you still haven't gotten quite over the hump of winning a region championship yet. What do you want to see from your team this year to win the region championship, to be a number 1 seed going to the playoffs? And what have you seen so far this summer and in the spring that can give you confidence your team can do that?
This is my thing. You know, we expect out of our team the same we've expected every year. That's just to be their best. I don't expect any more or any less out of them. You know, if our best is win the region, then it'll be win the region. If our best is not, then it won't be. You know, I truly believe that our mission is for our players to be better prepared because of playing ball. So they can gain those values if we go 5-5, and they can gain those values if we go 10-0. It's about a pursuit of excellence of being the best that they can be. You know, do we strive to win that? Yes, we do. We do strive to win that. You know, we strive to win a state championship. You know, you have to. There are no trophies for second place. We get that. You know, so if the ball's out there, we're playing to win. There's no doubt, and we're competing to win. But we're not going to go into the year with our team, you know, with probably that kind of mindset. Our mindset is going to be that our job is to pursue excellence. Our job is to get better every week. Our job is to pour into each other. And if we're doing that, like we talk to the guys a lot about when they go to practice, come to practice every day with 2 things, okay? That is a mindset to just do your best and then have a teachable spirit. Those 2 things, nothing more, nothing less. All right, do your best, and then when you struggle, be teachable. All right, and if we're consistent with that daily, then we'll reach a high level of performance. And I think if we do that, I think we'll have ourselves in a position to be competitive to win every game. If we don't do that, then we probably won't be in that position. But right now, that's our mindset.
I have one question for Amari. Just take us through your yeah.
Are we switching now?
Yeah, we can switch, for now. Yeah.
Good. All right.
You switch back if somebody has another question for you. Amari, just take me through your recruitment. What led you to this decision, and you know, why so far away?
Well, I think when I was starting the recruiting process, I was looking for 3 things: culture, academics, and then football in that order. I think the culture at Stanford is a great culture. I mean, there's guys that want to pursue other things past football. You know, it's not just play college football and get to the league. It's how can I help either somebody or the world and change it for the better. Academically, you know, Stanford's one of the best universities in America, and not only in America, in the world. But that was a no-brainer. And in football, it's the Pac-12, great conference, great competition. So, I mean, when I was looking and evaluating everything, I mean, it just all fit for me. So, yeah.
Amari, I'll stick with you and ask, you look at the last few years at Auburn High, you guys have been known for playing great defense. What is it about, you know, year after year that you think keeps Auburn High playing such elite defense, and what's going to be the key to continuing that this year?
I think there's a general consensus that we want to be the best on defense. You know, we want to hold our opponents to 0 points. We want to just excel in all areas of the game defensively, and I think that we all have that mindset. You know, it's not one guy's lacking this. I think generally everybody has that mindset, and that's what brings us closer together. And we're so close off the field that, you know, we're hanging out, we're watching film, you know, we're swimming at each other's pools, you know. I think that kind of fellowship has brought us closer together, and each year it gets closer and tighter, and we become more of a brotherhood and a tighter bond. So I think all of that adding up just helps us become one of the best defenses.
I also have a question for Kevon. We've talked a little bit so far about the fact that this region is so tight and so competitive. What's it like being up there at the line of scrimmage? I mean, they always say that it's one at the line. What's the challenge like being up there battling with these guys?
It's an amazing feeling. I feel as if in the position I play, I don't get much credit for what I do, but I just feel the weight of the team on my back. I like the experience. I learned a ton of stuff from just being able to I'm very respectful in what I do, and I feel like I can be counted on. I like that feeling. But in our division, I feel like if you don't work for it, you're not going to be ready for it. Coach Weingart and our whole coaching staff, they're going to push you to the max. If you're going to be an Auburn Tiger, you're not going to cheat reps. You're not going to slack. So I feel like I'm very prepared, and everybody that we have this year is very prepared. We lost a couple guys. We got 2 returning this year, I believe, 3. But we have a bunch of talent. We got a couple guys on the O-line that can fly. So just watch out for us. That's all I can say.
Coach, I also have a question for you. You guys are coming off another double-digit win season. I wanted to just kind of give you a chance to brag on each of these guys. Just tell me what they bring to the team and sort of your expectations for them this fall.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same that we talked about with it's just like, I know Amari has been a highly recruited player, but it's kind of like we talked about on the phone with him when people ask, what do we expect? I don't expect any more out of Amari than I expect out of, the guy that's on the scout team. I want him to come to practice every day to be his best. I want him to be a coachable player. I want him to, seek a great education. I want him to be a great teammate, and I want him to play for a larger purpose. Those four things. And, if he does that, then his natural ability will take over and his natural leadership skills will take over. And I want him and Kevon and Aaron and Paxton, I want them to have just a great experience as a senior player. And you have a great experience when, first of all, you need some success. It's no fun not to be successful. So I want those guys to be successful and have a great year on the field for us. And but at the same time, I just want them to be them. And I've seen a lot of guys go through their senior years and they put a lot of pressure on themselves to be maybe something they're not or something that they think they should be. And they get outside their own skin. And when they do that, they don't have a great experience and they don't end up really performing like they wanted to begin with. So I want them to stay within who they are and just keep working to improve every day and being them and enjoying their team.
A question for Aaron. I'm going to hit all you guys, so just what's it been like this offseason as you guys kind of take on even more as far as being on defense and like I was asking Amari, continuing this tradition of great defense at Auburn High?
We've definitely just been working hard. One thing I feel like is the past years we definitely gained momentum from our teammates. So I guess.
And then also a question for Pax. Paxton, I want to make sure, are you running back? Is that right?
Fullback.
Fullback.
Yes, sir.
Just, what's the excitement like going into this season and helping continue this tradition of winning at Auburn High?
Man, I'm really excited about this season. Being with this great group of guys as a senior class, I'm really excited to see what we can do as a team as a whole. I believe we've got a lot of talent heading into the year, and I'm just really excited to see what we can do.
Paxton, I'll ask you a question. I know you've been playing since your sophomore year, getting some pretty valuable playing time. What does that mean now kind of as you get older and get your senior year?
I'm just kind of cherish every moment as of now. Who knows when it's going to end? It could be the league. It could be just after this year. Who knows? And I just love every minute of it and get to spend it with a great coaching staff, great teammates, and great fans. Love it.
You going to get some passes thrown out of the backfield this year?
I hope so.
Anybody else? All right. Coach Weingarten, Auburn High, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Any closing comments?
Just thank you guys so much for putting this on. I know that it's definitely a convenience for all the media to get the chance to talk to all the teams, but I'm just telling you, you can't put a price on what you guys are doing for our sport and this media outlet to not just promote the sport, but to promote these young people. And I think they deserve a lot of recognition. And you guys do a tremendous job with it. So just thank you guys very much.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Come back. We'll wrap up High School Football Media Days Day 1 after this on Fox Sports 910 a.m., 1310 a.m., The Game.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
The USS Alabama is a World War II-era battleship that first served in the Atlantic Theater, but was better known for helping to take Japanese-held islands in the Pacific between 1943 and 1945. During the Battle of the Philippine Sea, the Alabama's state-of-the-art radar alerted the fleet to incoming aircraft, providing the Americans enough time to scramble fighters and decimate the attacking force. Later, the Alabama served during the Battle of Leyte Gulf and anchored in Tokyo Bay to unload Allied occupation forces. In 1964, the state of Alabama took possession of the battleship. Alabama school children raised $100,000 in nickels and dimes to help bring the ship to Mobile and create Battleship Memorial Park. The park features the Alabama, the World War II-era submarine USS Drum, and an American military aircraft collection. Battleship Memorial Park is one of the state's most visited attractions.
Singer Percy Sledge was one of the most identifiable voices in the genre of country soul, which emerged from Muscle Shoals in the mid-1960s. In 1966, Sledge recorded his most iconic song, When a Man Loves a Woman. The song topped Billboard's Top 100 for 16 weeks. Percy Sledge's career spanned 5 decades. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005.
Knox Tire, Rice Real Estate, Hyundai of Auburn, Frederick Dean Funeral Homes, and Keith Blackman Country Financial. Just heard from Auburn High School. You got to be impressed with these. That's got to be one of the premier athletic high schools in the state.
Yeah, you look at every sport, all the way from golf, baseball, basketball. I mean, they're winners in every sport. Cross country, they're one of the best in the state. A lot of good athletes that walk down the halls of Auburn High, and that's like I said, I've heard a lot of talk about this football team's not going to be that good. I said, I don't believe it. They're going to have to show me that they're not going to be good. This team will be a competitive team and battle for the region championship like they do every year.
I think he answered that question. It was not questioned that way, but, when he said that if you're a well-rounded, consistent football team, you're going to have 5 or 6 starters on both sides of the ball leave every year.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you've got problems beyond just having to reload every year.
He basically said what I just said, though. He didn't call it reloading, but that's basically what you do.
No, that's exactly right.
The Alabamas, they might lose 10, 12 seniors every year, but they just reload. Good programs, they have athletes waiting in the wings. They start at junior high.
That's
getting
right.
ready for their chance, their opportunity.
Here's another thing that a lot of people don't think about. If you've got a superstar at one position, the person or the 2 people behind that person are learning from a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also really impressed with the attitude that he has about the kids. Just what we've talked about all day about the attitude of all the coaches about their kids and their development as human beings and men and not just football players.
Yeah, they come here in suit and tie, very respectful. Very impressed with that program. They're always one of the teams they talk about to have a chance to win the state championship. They have got to the state championship game one time, and, like I said, rumor is their talent's down. I don't believe it. We'll see.
I don't believe it either.
One thing Coach Wingarder does is, especially at the quarterback position, he'll have a kid that may play defensive back for 2 years.
Right.
And then he's the quarterback his senior year. He finds the best athlete to run that quarterback position. They may have different strong points. One could maybe pass. One, like Speaks last year, was a real good runner. They got a quarterback battle, I heard. It'll extend towards the fall. But Auburn High is always going to be good.
Yeah, they are. And, there are rumors that Auburn's about to do just the opposite of what Dothan's doing, and that it won't be too many more years before they build another high school because this one's already starting to get maxed out. That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But right now, what a great program they have, but it's not just athletics. Most of the people, and I don't understand this, but most of the people in Auburn would prefer that Auburn not even have athletics because it's such an academic school. But, as Coach Weingarten said, it's something that's extremely important, not just to Auburn High School, but to the community, to the state, to the United States.
Yeah. Anybody that says you shouldn't have high school sports, it's ridiculous. I mean, sports teach you a lot of things in life. I don't care what sport it is. It teaches you how to work with other people, how to respect other people, how to learn to fail. You know, you're going to fail. Baseball, you hit 1 out of 3.
Yeah. You're a superstar.
You're a superstar, but you still failed 2 out of 3 times.
That's right.
So anybody that believes that athletic sports is not a benefit to the community or that kid growing up to be a better person, they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, it's been a pleasure to be here with you again today, and I look forward to tomorrow.
Excited. We got the state champion coming in.
That's right. Well, tomorrow we start off with Dadeville. Then we have Lee Scott with a new head coach and Russell County with a new head coach. A.J. Jones coming in with Notasulga, and reigning superstar Central Red Devils coming in at midday, and then the Lynette Panthers, Glenwood Gators, Reeltown Rebels, and Opelika Bulldogs, and I believe that we're going to have Lyman Ward in right after the Bulldogs.
Good addition.
Another great day. Looking forward to another great season. We hope that all of y'all will listen to Jerry and me on 97.7 Kicker FM. We'll also be simulcasting this year on 9:10 a.m. and 13:10 a.m. Fox Sports The Game. Jerry Bavara.
It's good. I'm excited about it. It's right around the corner, about a month away. So
and
let's crank it up and let's get going.
We'll be on air on August the 23rd, I think, and then all of a sudden it'll be December. But
we'll be whimpering because it's over. But.
Yep. Well, for Jerry, Eddie, and all the people here at Media Days today, Orthopedic Clinic, thank you. Fox Sports 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m., The Game, and WOTM. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
Good afternoon.